Hello and welcome to the FSL circuit for Dota 2. This is the Female Esports League. My name is Holler, and I'm going to be bringing you all the action across 30 different teams that are all female players, and they're going to be playing in Dota 2. Now, what we have today is we have the team split up into two different groups. So you're going to have a Group A, you're going to have a Group B, and of course we're going to have 15 teams in each of those. Now, the first two teams that we're going to see today is going to be Rubik's Female. Those guys are representing Indonesia, and then you're going to have Frosty Fire, who are going to be representing Thailand. Now, the draft is currently underway. Now, mind you, in this group stage, obviously we're only taking the top 4 teams. Those teams are going to move on into a playoffs. And the playoffs are going to, the group stage is going to go to October 20th. So every single day from Saturday and Sunday at this exact moment, 12 to 4, 12 to 5, depending on where you are. Basically, we're going to be giving you group stage action for all the Dota 2. The playoffs are going to be on October 26th, 27th. Of course, top 4 teams from each of the groups. So again, top 8. Just doing a little bit of math there. We're going to have the playoffs. And then from those, we're going to have look to a couple of the teams are going to actually compete at the FSL Elite, which is going to happen in November. That's going to happen in Singapore. We're going to fly out the teams. It's going to be amazing. We're going to see them live and to see exactly what's going on. Now, the draft is underway. This is just, of course, this is a best of 1 between Frosty Fire and Rubik's Female. We're going to see some of the interesting picks and bans. I see that Night Stalker is an insta-ban from Frosty Fire. I think that that's a great first pick in terms of first ban, excuse me. And now it looks like Rubik's Female, their picks have kind of been a little bit more on the tankier side with the whole Ogre Bristleback. They're looking to secure probably the lane. But that's going up against Skywrath and Sand King. Now, Sand King, I feel like in the meta today is actually one of the most popular and powerful offlaners right now. We do see a silencer pickup here. I think that it works. I think it's kind of probably a support pick here. But let's see what they counter pick against the Lion. So Frosty Fire doesn't really care if you can silence me or not. It looks like they're going for the spellcaster types. But it seems like they have a set strategy in mind. If we're looking at some of the bans that they did, LC, of course, just tears them up. Grimstroke, the Silence, and the Soulbind just makes their team have a rough time. So good bans there.
10 seconds remaining.
Now, Rubik's Female, on the other hand, their bans are a little bit tankier in the sense of the Timber, Tiny, Abaddon, and of course the Viper. Those are very somewhat tankier, sustaining heroes. And with Rubik's Female picking up, two of the most tanky heroes themselves, and Ogre and Bristleback, they're going to be doing a lot of damage over time. Now, the Kunkka pick is here. It's probably looking to be, I would think, a mid. But again, Kunkka's kind of somewhat flexible. So I kind of like this pick because you can play it as a carry, you can play it as an offlane if you really wanted. And of course, the Bristle just being, like, we've seen it in almost 1 through 3. We have not seen it played as a support, so it's a nice pickup there, and it does give them a little bit of flexibility. Plus, Bristleback at the end of the day, I love the hero because it's very easy to play. You're just pretty much spamming W for your spikes all around, and your quills, excuse me, and just kind of getting your goo all over the place. So that said, Frosty Fire, like the pick here. This is a good, because it's a natural silver edge carry. And so it's gonna tear up the Bristle. The laning phase isn't too bad. And if you're looking at the amount of lockdown that Rubik's has, the Kunkka, the Ogre, kind of not really there. So not a bad pick here. I'm kind of liking the way Frosty Fire is kind of drafted so far. But the ban is going to be the most important one. Now, I don't think Frosty Fire is going to do a mid-sky. I think that guy gets torn up by the Kunkka. So let's see what they look to pick here. Rubik's, they banned out the Necro. I like that ban because it does, again, they're just trying to stay away from any sort of tanky, any sort of sustain, and just kind of blow people up. Now, one thing that does worry me, though, is that Rubik's Female doesn't really have that that damage dealer late game. I mean, the Kunkka's got the burst, he's got the Tiebringer and all that, but you have the lockdown with the Ogre, the Silence, you kind of just slowing him down, but the Bristle doesn't really do a whole lot of damage unless he's getting focused. So I feel like they need a hard carry here. I'm thinking that they go with a Kunkka mid. But let's see. Frosty Fire, they ban out Faceless Void. Also very nice. It's a nice ban. It's right on point in terms of what they wanted. The damage dealing, the whole Chronosphere, just kind of locking everybody down. It would have been perfect against that Slark. You do need some way to kind of lock that thing down. So another thing that worries me about Rubik's Females draft, though, is that they got one ranged hero in Silencer. The Lion Skywrath is pretty much all the range you're going to need from that team, so they can kind of keep themselves flexible. Now, Frosty Fire, though, they don't have last pick. So whatever they pick here needs to make sure that they're containing and controlling and protecting that Slark, because he's going to carry you to victory. They're definitely looking for some sort of gank potential. The Lion Finger and the Mystic Flare from the Skywrath just insta-kill. And the Sand King just kind of controlling the Sandstorm is just very, very powerful, especially in this patch. So 50 seconds here. They have a little bit of time in terms of what they want to do. Now, if we're looking at the names, just from Frosty Fire, Mei Mei, and then you see another Mei Mei. I'm going to call it Mimi, and I know that's not how you pronounce it, but it's just for my sanity and to make sure that I can kind of distinguish between the two of Mimi and Mei Mei. I don't know why they would choose names that are very, very similar and make it very difficult for me. Thank you for that. I will not forget this. But, like in the pick, Leshrac, it does have the push that the team was kind of missing. That's probably your mid lane. It does all right against the Kunkka. I think you're going to be pretty fine. But Rubik's here, what is the counter to that? They don't really have the push themselves. They're missing the damage dealing to kind of take them to the edge and to that late game. I'm thinking maybe 5 seconds Terrorblade, maybe some sort of pushing slash. Okay, all right. They got the Mirana. So when in doubt, you take Mirana. I think she's very powerful in this patch as well. But let's see exactly how they want to lane this, how they want to do what they want to do. Now, oh my gosh, Bristleback. Pumpy Umpy Umpkin? That is a great name. Okay, we're going to have some fun with that one throughout this game. So this is going to be the first game that they're playing. Of course, all of the other teams, the 15 teams that are playing in the groups, they have schedules. They're playing in the background. So we'll kind of understand where teams are kind of shaping up. Of course, no one is eliminated from the first round on. But it's actually great to have a nice head start. We're going to see some really powerful names and throughout FSL. So we'll get into those teams and the list probably after this game, just so we see what's going on. Now, the players have been chosen. We know exactly where they're going to be. X Infinity on Mirana, Amadea, Aegis on the Kunkka, Demon Ajax. Demon Axe? Let's just go Demon Axe. I think that works. And then Pumpy Umpkin. Love it. Bristleback. Rhinox on the Ogre. Zara on the Skywrath Mage. Cat Chaser on the Sand King. Mimi on the Lion. Mei Mei on the Slark. Those guys are going to probably lane together. They're probably best friends. And, of course, Sleepless on the Leshrac. So we're just loading up here. And so we're going to get into the game now. Loving the Sand King. I actually have that headset, so I'm quite proud and loving the fact that the Cat Chaser is kind of coming through. Now, the Mirana here, this eagle, who only walks around or runs around with the Mirana. So, the game is loaded up. We're going to see exactly where the laning is going to be. Mimi and Mei Mei, bestest friends. They're going to be in the bottom lane together. The Lion and the Slark. We're seeing the Leshrac kind of making his way to the mid. Against the Kunkka, probably. Nothing too crazy there. But the Sand King, Cat Chaser, and the Skywrath. This is a pretty dangerous lane. And it looks like they're looking to do a tri-lane to start. Let's go to the other dire side. X Infinity on Mirana. That's probably going to be your carry. Demon Axe on the Silencer. And Ogre on Rhynov on the Ogre. Kunkka is in position. Just place the ward. He'll probably just back up and just body block. A little bit of a skirmish here. A little bit of chicken taunting. Love it. The Skywrath. But no predictions, of course, because this is just a lobby game. And it looks like they're going to be looking to do a Bristleback, Pumpy Umpy Umpkin, who I have the utmost faith in because of the fact that she has a cool name, going up against the Slark and the Lion. Now, a little bit of action. They're going to kind of move out. They haven't skilled anything. So, a little bit of stun there. But with the arrow off the mark, they need to time that a little bit better. But baiting out spells is what you want to do. A little bit of mana used. And the arrow to start.
The battle begins.
I'm thinking unless this Lion can steal it, he does. He gets the steal right there. So 3 for the Radiant and 1 for the Dire. So Kunkka, I think this is the, I mean, it's going to be a tri-lane top. I think this is going to be the all-telling one. This one in the bottom lane. Bristle just being by himself, can he sustain through all of that? I think he'll be all right. But just to kind of start, let's go into the last hits. Of course, none last hits there, but a little bit of high ground. Just a little back and forth there. Now, the Bristle here, one thing that the Lion and the Slark both need is a stick, because obviously the Quills are going to come, and he's going to continue to spam that. Now, mind you, I know that FSL, all of these are female players. We have actual video cams as they play so that we know that legitimately these are female players. That said, I will call them he and she based on their hero. I don't like to, so apologize in advance. I know that they're all female players. But that's it. Bristle here, just trying to get some last hits. Slark with 3 and 3 denies is pretty massive, especially at this stage of the game. But again, you're kind of sharing that XP, so it's a little bit more difficult. BB gets the fast level 2, just because he is solo. Now, a little bit of action in the top. Skywrath gets a little low. The Arcane Curse they're ticking off now, and he should be fine. The Sand King, a little bit of burrow, gets stunned up. The Silencer is moving back in, but the Silencer will kind of just run away. Now, Healing Salve being used by the Sand King there. But the arrow, off the mark. Okay, so that one's going to miss. If it did hit, that would have definitely been first blood. But Skywrath Mage just being in the right spot. Now, Silencer is moving in the back, looking to do a quick pull to kind of just protect themselves. Because Mirana's not actually able to get a decent amount of last hits. She's kind of in the middle ground right now. So that's a little worrying. Oh, the Clarity gets destroyed. A little bit of a DOT action, but again, this is they need to pull this lane back. So Silencer, got to pull it back, make sure that you're in position. Now, when they're all level 2, this could be a problem. But the Ogre, with all that heal regen, he's just going to walk off all that damage. But you do need to secure as much space as possible for this Mirana, and this is being under the tower, so it's a little bit hard for Infinity to kind of get all the right amount of last hits, especially under tower, but the Silence are getting low. Hopefully she doesn't die 2 creeps. She's got to play a little bit careful, especially with that pull. But Leshrac here, exerting dominance, 14-3 against the 8-2. This is the big one. Just as long as the Kunkka doesn't get completely destroyed, you want to be careful. Oh, the stun hits, but the Kunkka taking a little bit more damage. He has a Tango, a pull Tango that is. He can get a little bit of heals on that action. Now, a little bit of the arrow. They're trying to do a pull. The Sandstorm hits him out. Now he doesn't have, he does have vision. The stun is there. They do have a sentry, so they do see the Sand King, but the Sand King is going to Arcane Curse. Take off a little bit more damage. He should be okay, especially with 2 more tangos, and he just pops the stick. So, oops. And the first blood, they finally get the Bristle. He's getting a little low. A little bit of action, especially with that level 3. The Hex and the Earth Spike being enough lockdown for the Slark to get the damage. So, nice kill there. So the Bristle's going to TP back in. They're moving him back in. Arcane Curse, trying to zone out. Try to create, again, more space for this Mirana. 11-2. The Sand King is 13-0. So the Bristle here, level 4 to the Slark. Both have stick, has a wand on the Slark, which is perfect against the spamming Quills. Lion locks down the Arcane Rune for the Leshrac, and Leshrac will just hop his way back in. I don't know if the Leshrac has the taunt, the disco taunt. That always makes things fun, especially with the music. But the Skywrath here, they're trying to deny as much as they can. Oh, but the arrow gets the stun, starts them, and they get the secure the kill. That was pretty much a solo kill. The Skywrath just focusing on the creeps and not really being able to protect. If she had the silence, might have protected the Sand King. Now, it's 1-1. If we're looking at net worth alone, Leshrac again is in the lead. A little bit of action at the bottom. The Slark gets a little low. On the Lion, pops the stick. He's getting right-clicked, and the Quills will be enough damage. 5-minute rune. And the Slark is going to move, secure the bottom rune at least. The Silencer gets the top, and the Skywrath a one-on-one on that, but the Slark gets the bottom 2. That's a pretty big gold swing there. 3 runes to 1, of course, and she'll just TP her way back out. The arrow hits the Skywrath, and that will kill this guy. And the Sand King, they're just going to walk out of Sandstorm, so they should be fine. The Silencer, nice, not a bad kill there. But the level 6 here, the Skywrath is looking to TP in. He's going to continue to run in. He's got nowhere to go. This is the problem. And Leshrac just literally just running at him. Doesn't matter what you can do. Just the amount of damage from that Pulse Nova and everything, just too much. So the Bristle finally now getting in position to do some damage. Now, you want to prevent the Slark from getting as much space as possible. So just trying to put some pressure in. Obviously, you have the Ogre to kind of back you up. And the Lion is kind of a non-factor at this point because, I mean, the Ogre and the Bristle is just like, what can you do, even if you stun them, right? So the Slark is getting very low. They do need to be a little bit careful. One thing to note is that the Leshrac did get the haste, and he can just kind of run up on him. But Leshrac here, level 7, no boots, mind you, but she does have haste. Skywrath just trying to get into position. They do see the creeps, just trying to steal and leech off as much XP as possible.
Missing middle.
The Slark getting low, level 5. Oh, the stun there, but the leap out just in time. Nice play there by the Slark. Getting a little low. She really needs level 6, and then she'll be in a way better spot. At that point, the Lion can probably run away. But until that happens, the Bristle here getting his, looking to get phase first. The first big one. The Leshrac, or the Slark on the other hand, phase as well. So it's a bit of a rush. Sand King is still level 4, which is kind of crazy considering the fact that the Mirana, who's been tri-laning almost this entire game, level 4 as well. But she's kind of by herself. Oh, look at the little bird chasing. No damage there. But to be honest, I'm worried that the Mirana probably should have gotten stick a little earlier, just because you prevent the spamming of, you know, what do we call it? The Arcane Bolt from the Skywrath, and it does a lot of damage. The Slark here, just being completely zoned out, being chased off by the creeps, and hit their creeps, the Dire that is, are actually doing some damage on that T1. The Leshrac is starting to move down. They're going to look to shrine up. Oh, the 2-man stun there, the Earth Spike, and here comes the Leshrac. The Leshrac stun is off the mark. The Ogre's going to get hexed up, and he's probably going to go down. He's getting very, very low. And the Pulse Nova just doing a lot of work. It doesn't matter which way you're facing Bristle, and that's going to be a double kill for Sleepless. Nice rotation there. Gets the shrine up. Max usage there, and then a double kill there. And just securing the lane, and now Slark is level 6. Dark Pact or Shadow Dance was used on that piece, but the Ogre now is going to TP mid. Really back and forth, but I mean, if we're looking at kills 4-3, but a 2K net worth lead, that's like the biggest teller right now, especially with the last hits that we're talking. 37-5, 38-5, versus the 34-10 of the Leshrac. I mean, when you're rotating and moving around as the Leshrac, obviously you're not going to get as many last hits. So Kunkka can kind of catch up, and he did so in that manner. He's a little behind in terms of levels, but nothing too, I mean, out of the ordinary, I would say, especially at this 9-minute mark. 39 last hits, 40 last hits versus 37, still pretty decent at 9 minutes. Ogre kind of in position. He's level 5. Oh, the stun gets caught up. The X is being used. The Vote combo is going to bring him back. No, but he gets stunned. The Leshrac is not. Oh, the Leshrac is going to Pulse Nova is there. The Skywrath Mage has kind of made his rotation through. They get the Leshrac on that end. And they do get the Silencer on the other end. But the Ogre gets just getting totally spammed out with all these Arcane Bolts. He's going to salve up, and he's going to kind of make his way out. He's level 6 here. It's got nothing to do in the salve from the Ogre. Just so tanky. In the bottom lane, the Bristle does have Basilisk, is kind of making his way forward, doesn't have the phase. The Sand King completely zoned out at this point. Epicenter was used, but now it looks like the Mirana by herself, level 5, or level 6 now. Oh, the Bristle gets the kill on the Lion. and so the Slark Shadow Dance gonna pop up, but Moonlight has been used, but it doesn't really matter because the runes are the most important thing. You have to prioritize this, especially this early in the game. And the Bristle gets the other one, Sand King, making his way, and he gets one. Now, oh, the Silencer just walking into that with no vision, gets stunned up with a Burrow Strike, the Arcane Bolt, and that's going to be a dead Silencer. That is a sad day. Now, Silencer, you are level 3. Level 3. You can't be walking around with no vision, and mind you, you have no boots, so you're very slow. Everybody saw you coming. Now, they do see the Ogre in position. It looks like the Silencer is just going to be there for the ult. So once she's level 6, it looks like they're probably going to take a little bit more action, probably with the Moonlights getting queued up. But one thing we didn't really talk about is the Kunkka X into Arrow combo. I'm assuming that they have practiced this, as that combo can be quite potent. You do a lot of damage, 5-second stuns if possible. But we'll see how that one comes out. Now, no towers at this point. So I'm hoping that it doesn't go too late in terms of the gaming, because you don't want to go too late against the Slark. Oh, the Mirana arrow off the mark. Arcane Curse, he's there, but this Silencer caught up with level 5. It does get a tomb up, but the Sandstorm. Oh, and here comes the boat. X's him back. The stun, the boat is off the mark, but the epicenter is being channeled. He's looking to get at least somebody, but the arrow stuns him. Oh, okay. He does get the kill, and of course, a Silencer with that kill gets 2 intel smarter. We'll just keep tabs on that. And mind you, she is level 4 or 4 intelligence stolen from there. Lion, level 5. You got to get to level 6. Does have the tomb. Waiting for the chick. Once Lion gets that Mimi, she'll be able to start getting some ganks off. Of course, the finger, you want to start doing that early and almost using that off cooldown just so you can do as much damage as possible. Ooh, smoking. They do smoke up. Let's see what the Bristle wants to do. He's in position, but you kind of just walked up into that. He does pounce up, and here comes the array. Here's the team. 3 TPs are coming in. They're looking to turn this around. Moonlight's being used to disengage, and it looks like they're just going to back up. 3 TPs were used. Now, Mirana is going to TP to the top. She was completely in the fountain, so she's kind of out of the way. She does need to push top, especially with all of those TPs being used bottom. You have a ton of space top. You probably want to do as much damage to that tower as possible. The Kunkka, on the other hand, is pushing mid. So a little bit of chip damage there. T1 mid being the most important. Now the Kunkka here with 2 bracers, phase boots, and a BKB early, knowing that there's a ton of magic damage. Oh, the pounce gets caught off. The Bristle turned around. Doesn't really matter. The 2-man stun gets from the Leshrac, the Pulse Nova, doing a lot of work, but she's gone under. She gets killed. The Silencer gets a little bit smarter. She is level 6. Did not... Oh, the Mystic Flare! Oh, the fatty walks into that. Oh, man, the Ogre Magi just walking in the Mystic Flare and being very, very slow. I mean, yeah, you're super tanky, but not that tanky. Just doing a lot of work there. Now, the Sand King has come top. Now, this is the power build that we've been seeing a lot of. Now, the Sand King, I think 7.20 was when they buffed the initial Sandstorm. They nerfed it throughout a couple of patches, and then the most recently, they've brought the Sandstorm back to its original incarnation. It is very, very strong. Now, the amount of damage that you do, of course, and you're hidden, and the fact that the Sandstorm doesn't go away, plus the exponential growth from the Veil of Discord, you're just talking a lot of potential match damage that you can do. So this is the new hotness, I would say, in terms of build. The Veil of Discord into probably a Blink. Just the amount of work that you can do, just the magic damage. It's super scary, and of course, it's a melee carry. Not much you can do. Now, the Kunkka does see him. He does get Burrow struck, but is there going to be an X? Does get the X up. He does have the combo if he wants to do it, but the Silence will probably slow him down. The Torrent will hit the Sand King, but the Sky Wrath with that TP and that Silence, pretty clutch. Just preventing that combo from going on. So, the Kunkka is going to go back into mid and get a little bit more farm. Regen here, he'll just bottle that up. Now, a little bit of action in the top. The stun gets the Sand King. The Silence has been used, but how much damage? They do kill the Mirana, which is a nice trade there. But they can't, I don't think they can get the... Oh, they do get the stun, and they're going to go for this with all the creeps below. Oh, but he's getting been aggro. The Mystic Flare being used. The Ogre walks out of that one. And now here come the creeps. And is there going to be another? Nope. The Sandstorm gets the burrow. Oh, the Ogre went too greedy. Why would you go too far? And now the Sand King is going to limp away. I think he's limping because his left claw is just too big. I feel like he would be delicious as a chili crab. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hungry. But the Sand King just kind of backing up, just trying to get some heals off. The Silencer gets the nice D ward there. That will help, and of course with the Dust here, a little bit of Sentry and the Observer ward. Now the Slark, we've kind of been quiet. Get a decent amount of farm. Mimi doing a little bit of zoning action, just get some more mana up. A ring of the health from the Bristle. This is going to be super annoying to deal with. It looks like the Bristle's going to go pipe first. We're going to go a little bit of action top. They do see the Dust up on the Sand King. Oh, but the Burrow Strike, and that will be another kill. Silencer, this is a little worrying. We were making fun of the Silencer for being level 3 at what? The 12-minute mark, but she's now level 7 at 16 minutes, and she's 8 intel stolen. That's actually a lot of intel at this stage of the game, just being in the vicinity. But, okay, so that's the mid tower. Moonlight being used for our top, but there's actually nobody around. Oh, the Mystic Flare being used against the Kunkka. He's going to TP on out of that. But now the Skywrath with very little damage. And the arrow off the mark. Oh, they do need to work on that, but they're going to get the kill. And again, another kill for the Silencer and another 2. So 10 intel stolen. Look, at the end of the game, the Sand King might be too stupid, and the Skywrath as well, to even cast spells. This could be a problem. Now, Burrow Strike, does get the Mirana on the Burrow Strike. Nice play there by the Sand King. He does have the Arcane Boots, get the mana back up. And one thing, though, is that the Leshrac, though, I feel like to play to this hero's potential, you need to be pushing lanes. Like, the amount of push that you can do, you can't be outpushed, so to speak, by the Kunkka. This is a problem, right? The mid T1 is just a massive tower. It's very powerful in terms of objectives because it creates a lot of space. Oh, let me see if I can draw this out. Like this sort of concave that you have right here in the mini-map, you're basically pushing them back. If you have that space, I mean, it's way easier than this piece, right? Like, let's just say that the towers were reversed, right? That said, the Sand King is pushing the tower. The Torrent is going to hit with the boat combo. The Silence as well. The boat does hit, but they don't have the vision. Oh, the Dust is now being used. Now they see him. Oh, the stun is there. The arrow was off the mark, but it doesn't really matter. The Burrow Strike catches out 2. Doesn't get the Mirana. The Caustic Finale. Okay, he's going to stick on up. He should be fine. Okay. Look. Oh, the X combo catches the Torrents, but how much damage? Oh, but the Finger does kill out 1. The Silencer, the Hex, the Skywrath Mage getting a lot of damage, and he's going to right-click through this. Mana Drain actually doesn't do damage, so he's going to walk away on that one. The Kunkka, that is. She's going to X herself, and she's going to move on back. Okay, now, mind you, I have not been keeping tabs, but I feel like Infinity has not hit an arrow this entire game. Now, I'm not worried. I'm just saying that it's 18 minutes. If you miss a lot of arrows at this point, I mean, oh, but the Bristle gets stunned up Yules, and that's going to be a dead Bristle. So the Bristle, you need to get pipe as soon as possible. It does have the hood, and she did pop it, but the amount of damage from the Slark, the physical, and then the magic damage from the Leshrac, only half of it is being mitigated. So again, you need to be super careful. This is a part where, 19 minutes, right? You want to start pushing the lanes. This is actually a funny ward. You see an Observer ward here and an Observer ward here. So this is like double bagging it, I would think. I think that they're a little too close, and they're really not helping each other. That said, Moonlight, it looks like they're looking to shut down the farm. The Slark does get a little bit worried. There are pings. The Silencer is in position, but he's actually got no way to stun it. The Arcane Curse comes off, but he's just going to kind of Dark Pack that one away. No stuns are there. Ooh, Silencer probably should not have engaged that one, especially off the stun. Oh, but the Burrow Strike is off the mark. They're going to get Ogre. And it looks like they're going to back off and then try to save as much as they can. This is a full retreat. The Skywrath Mage does go down from the Kunkka, who solo killed it. Oh, the arrow finally hits. But is that going to be enough? The Slark doesn't really care. He's going to go in. The Pounce, he does catches him out. The Shrine is being used, but I don't think you want to go into that. The Dark Swarm is also being used. The X is going to catch him back. The Lion is going to be the sacrificial support. And it looks like they're going to look to disengage. So a lot of back and forth. Mind you, this is the 20-minute rune, so perfect timing there. They get 2 from the Dire, and Leshrac is going to just kind of move his way forward. He should secure these runes. I think it's really ideal, but the Slark here pounces his way forward, trying to get out of there. Now, all 5 of the Dire are chasing after this. They do get the X. Can they turn this into anything? They do X him back. He's got nowhere to go. He is Arcane Cursed up. He's going to look to body block from the Bristle. The boat is there to protect that, but it doesn't really matter. Well played there. I mean, all 5 of them to take down the Slark. A little bit of kill there. 454 gold from the Ogre. And it looks like they're going to take the T1 bottom. So a pretty big team's network swing right there. In your Kunkka, with all the towers that he's done and the amount of space he's been creating, the Kunkka's doing her job in terms of making sure that they're helping the team win. Obviously, the T1s are very important at this stage of the game. So the Sand King here with a faster pipe, no blink. Okay, it looks like the engagement is going to happen elsewhere. But it looks like the Sand King, who's just kind of happily farming by herself in the enemy jungle, does get stunned. Oh, the Burrow Strike. And the stun has totally been avoided to do that. The pipe has been used. The Skywrath is there. The Mystic Flare. The silence is being used as well. The Sand King is looking to turn around. He does need to go, but he's getting very, very low. He's going to get blown up. The Skywrath is just easy pickings for this Kunkka. And nice rotation Dire. And that's going to be 2 kills there. And it looks like they're just going to attack and push off the creep wave and keep their T2 alive. So it looks like they were going to look to disengage. Now, Dire, it seems like they're just kind of 5-man in it. You know, they have a certain point. All of their guys have, Maelstrom now, Yasha on the way, looking to get Mata. And the Kunkka's got his BKB. He's still going to fight, right? He does have a 9-second BKB. And right now, they're just looking to push towers, which is a huge boon for their team. This is a worry of mine, right? Like, Sleepless as Leshrac, you want to be pushing the towers, right? You still haven't pushed this bottom T1, which you could have easily done with your Slark. And it looks like you're going to lose your T1 top, and you're losing a lot of space. And this is the space that you need for your Slark to get some farm. So again, let's just see how they look to turn this around. A couple of TPs are going bottom. 3 TPs. I don't think they have Glyph. But the Silencer there, they're looking to rotate. Now, all 5 of them have looked... Oh, okay. Sand King, I thought he was going to get the stun off. He misses it, or he didn't. Not close enough, I would say. But again, all 5 of the Dire are just sticking together. I mean, at this point, excuse me, they're like holding hands. They're kind of just pushing along. This is not a bad strategy. This is a 5-man push, I would say, against the Slark, who doesn't really like this sort of lineup. Oh, but the Torrent's got nowhere to go. He's going to try to run away, flap his way out. Oh, he's looking to do a little bit of jukes, but the X is there. The boat is also there. The Silencer is now in position. And again, 20 intel stolen. Here's the Leshrac. He gets stunned up. The finger was being used, but all of that magic damage, how much was it mitigated by the pipe? The BKB is now being used. Yule's up on himself, keep himself alive. But this Slark, again, the Sand King is there. The stun. Oh, the arrow hits. They're going to let the Sand King go. Nope. The Ogre is there. Now the Slark is actually healing up. The Epicenter is being channeled on the back end of this, but how much damage can they do? And that was a 4 for 3. Not a bad trade for the Dire. So, again, if we're looking at net worth, less than 1K lead. I mean, it's 2018. It's pretty much a wash, but this is the thing. This is the power of this 5-man lineup, right? They know that the Slark they want pickoffs, right? And in the Slark Diffusal Echo, right, you're looking to get that the pickoff, seeing as they're 5-man in it, Slark isn't able to get those kills. Now, even permanent agility stolen, he's only gotten 5, right? So that's, again, 5 kills in the vicinity of. But this is a bit of an issue, right? Because you want the Slark to be getting as many ganks as possible. He's just getting his Shadow Blade. Silver Edge is on the way, and that's pretty much the only way you can deal with this Bristle. Like the Skywrath, you know, the Lion, all this magic damage is completely mitigated by his Bristleback and the pipe. it's just going to be super annoying. Oh, now the Sand King is just TPing in blind. The Sand King is there. They do see him. The Leshrac is in the way. 2-man stun. That was nice. The Yule's up, trying to catch as much as possible. The Pulse Nova's on the back of this Mystic Flare. The boat combo being used. The Slark is there. The Dark Swarm, and it looks like they're going to look to turn around, but Bristle is not the one you want to go on. The BKB's just doing as much damage as possible, and the Lion's going to go down. The X is on him as well. He blinks forward. He does have that now, and the Slark's got nowhere to go. Can they get the X? Is there any way to stun him? Yes, he's been X'd up now. Oh, they do kill the Bristle there. He gets killed now. Now, how much can they turn? The Kunkka is doing a lot of work with his DD, and it looks like the Leshrac. Oh, he's going to blink on forward. The arrow off the mark. Okay. I thought if they had the X, they might have been able to combo that probably, but it looks like they're going to turn this around, just back up a little bit, hold their horses, and they're going to look to take the bottom T2. So, a nice push there. I mean, you got 3 for 2. You lost the Bristle. Not the end of the world. A lot of cooldowns were used. I mean, of course, with Finger and the Slark and all that. And it looks like you got their Slark, and you got their T2 bottom. Some TPs are on the way. The Skywrath. A little worrying. Now, mind you, this is my issue with the Skywrath Mage, is that he's just so, if anyone jumps on this guy, he just dies, right? Oh, so they see the Kunkka, and the Mystic Flare is there. But like I was saying, the Skywrath, if you can stick with all 4 of your guys, great. You can get the ganks off. You have ways to stun them and keep them locked in. Oh, the Diffusal is being used. The Silencer's got nowhere to go. The ult is being used. The stun, the Slark's got nowhere. The arrow's going to hit. And that's going to be a dead Slark. Nice combination there. The Ogre's looking to turn this around. He does have mech, but mech was used, and he gets blown up. The Epicenter channeled. Oh, it's a zoning Epicenter. I've done that many a times. But the TP, they're going to look to turn this around, get 3 kills on the, 3 creep kills. A little bit of farm there, and they're going to look to turn that, push that, make sure that they create themselves a little bit of space now. Finger of Deaths, level 2, man. Only 80 damage. Not a whole lot. And you do have Vanguard of the Bristle. Okay, I love this. This is the way I play Bristle too. No damage, just straight up tankiness, right? So you have the pipe here. You got Crimson on the way. And then that's going to mitigate a lot of the damage that you're seeing. And again, the Radiant, Frosty Fire, they're very balanced in terms of their damage, right? Like you have the magic of the Lion, Sand King, Leshrac, Sky, and then now you have the right-click action of the Slark, which is pretty much all of your damage, assuming that everything doesn't get mitigated by the pipe. So again, you just need to kind of protect yourself from all sorts of the damage, so to speak. So a smoke being used. The Silencer was a little off the mark, but 28 intel. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage, especially at this stage of the game. It's 28 minutes. I mean, if we're looking at that in comparison to like the Slark, right, with his Essence Shift, the permanent agility, right, you only have 6. So not too much. Slark hasn't been able to do a lot of the ganking action, but oh, the Sand King is kind of by himself. The Moonlight is being used. I don't think they see him. They do see him now. The Goo's being used next to the Shrine, though. I don't know if that's where you want to be. The boat is also being used. The Shrine hasn't been used yet, but the Sand King taking a lot of damage. The Shrine is now being popped. But the 2-man stun, the Sand King is going to go down. The Skywrath on the other end of this, and it looks like they're going to get the Lion as well with the X. He's going to get shuffled back. Now, the off lane, 2 supports all down. You're creating a lot of space. The Slark and, of course, the Leshrac just getting a little bit of farming. But, again, this Leshrac, man, again, you need to be pushing. If there's, I hope that you watch this at some point. It will help your game. You need to understand what the hero wants to do, right? Leshrac is a pusher. You want to be pushing the lane. You want to be forcing the TP. Yeah, you force the Ogre. You probably could have soloed killed him, but it doesn't really matter. As the Dire right now, they're looking to take your T2 mid. And again, like, you TP back, but for what, right? Like, you're not going to actually defend. So you should have continued pushing, maybe forced another TP and then, but at this point, there's nothing that you can do. You wasted a little bit of time. Now you're just kind of all by yourself. So the Slark here is doing a blind TP. They did see that with the they do see that with the Ogre, or the Observer. The Shadow Blade is being used, but he's going to look to turn this. The arrow hits him. The Slark got nowhere to go, and that's going to be a dead Slark. The TP is being canceled. And, of course, Dust was being used just in case anybody was nearby. Now, that was not ideal. This is the problem, right? If we're looking at vision, this is what the Radiant see. They have no vision around the shrine. And if we're looking at the Dire, okay, this is a bit of an issue. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just do a little bit of my hotkeys. Hang on. Total vision. Apologies. I know. F3 is not working for some reason. Change to F4. Right, so there we have full vision now. A little bit of action in the epicenter. On the back, he's getting stunned up. He's got nowhere to go. More TPs coming in. He's going to get really low. And he gets down. The Lion's got nowhere to go as well. Now they're looking to completely turn this around. They did get the silencer on the back of that. But the Leshrac is now here. The stun is going to catch at least the Ogre. The two-man burrow strike. And now, he gets X back. The Kunkka, he gets killed as well. They've lost 3. The buyback coming in from the Lion. But how much can they do? The Sand King is also there. He did buy back. So they do need to get as much as possible. And now they get the Finger, they get the Mirana as well, and it looks like they're going to get a team wipe. Not bad. I mean, you did get you had 2 buybacks in that one. So you sacrificed a lot. But again, here we go. So we're seeing the entire vision. You got the team wipe there. Now you need to push up as much as possible. You got to make sure that you get something out of this buyback, right? You had 2 buybacks. So what else are you doing? You're pushing out the waves. But again, you need objectives. You got to either cut the creeps, like all of the creep waves, which is if you're drawing the line, is right on this line, right? This is going to buy them a ton of time, 30 seconds, and they might even do a little bit of chip damage in the mid. But that's pretty much it. So I don't think they're going to even get this mid T2. So here comes the Slark. Glyph is being used. We'll kind of keep that alive. Not a huge fan of glyphing for your T2s because I feel like these things are more of a roadblock than anything else. I mean, they're probably going to get the T2 now. With 3 heroes there, and the Leshrac, of course, making quick work of that. Now, the Leshrac here does have Yules and has a BKB of 9 seconds left. It seems like the Dire, though, they were playing well. They did have a nice, like, 5-man push in mind, but this is the all-difficult high ground that they need to go up. It's very difficult to go up high ground, especially going up against the wave clear of, Sand King, Leshrac. It's difficult to go up. So you need a set plan. You need to make sure that you're pushing out all the different lanes, creating pressure on all 3 points so that when you do take fights, you're at a numbers advantage, so to speak. So you need to be a little bit careful. So Moonlight being used here. They probably won't see anything at this point. I don't think they saw them. And it looks like they're just going to continue to push bottom. Somebody was circling them, so they do know that the Radiant know that the Dire are in this position. Obviously with the creep wave being killed. But the Skywrath here, he does have Atos if he wants to use it, but he is completely out of position. This is probably not where you want to go. He does have Dust. But again, you got to be a little bit careful in terms of how you want to proceed on this. One thing that I think that Dire should look to do is push 3 lanes and then maybe get Roshan. Get a single pick off if you can. Oh, but the Kunkka's been spotted. Oh, they do see him. He does get the X up on the Sand King. The silence is being used. I think it's a little early, especially with the arrow off the mark. They have really no vision. And again, Mirana and Kunkka by themselves, they don't really carry any of the dust, thinking that they're strictly support items, which I disagree with. As a support player myself, you probably need some sort of way to, create or to have vision, because you can't get the kills, right? So you need to be super careful. That said, let us see what they're going to do here. The Sand King is in position, and the T2 is getting pressured. But they're in the jungle, and they're not actually hitting the T2. The Sand King is going to push the wave, Sandstorm it forward. It looks like they're going to give up the T2 without a fight, which is fine. I don't really like the T2s, so I don't like big fights around them, especially without a huge advantage. And you don't really see them. So Moonlight is being used. The Bristle is going to get forced forward. The 2-man stun on the back end. The arrow does hit the Skywrath mate. The boat as well is going to do a lot of damage. The Lotus Orb is also being used on the end. The Slark is actually man-fighting the Silencer, and he's going to look to turn this around. The Pulse Nova's on the end. The Silencer has just kind of run away, just buy as much time as possible. But the Slark, how much damage can he do? The X is also being used, the Sandstorm as well, but the Sand King is trying to do as much right-click action as possible, and they get 4 kills on the end of that. The Kunkka's gonna blink out into the trees. He's gonna TP his way out. I think that everybody was just attacking everyone. There was no focus. It's like one of those things where on communications, you know, when you're on TeamSpeak or Discord or whatever it is, you got to talk about who you're going for, right? So as a carry, I'm looking at you, Mirana or Kunkka. You got to call out who you're going up against, right? So that you just focus fire them down, kill them as fast as possible. And of course, Sand King, through all of that, was just able to tank it up and then, you know, burrow strike his way forward, just control the fight. It's just super difficult. This hero is very annoying. Again, Lion, Skywrath, you need to kill those things because those are the burst. But once you kill those things, you're probably going to have to focus on this Sand King. You need some way to stop him. X is being used. Shadow Blade forward, but nothing. Just gets the T3 top. They're going to probably look to turn this into shrines. If the Skywrath does it, it might take another 10 minutes for him to kill it. And they decide to just run off. Seize as many bounties as possible. This is a pretty big moment when you can get all 4. That's a lot of gold. 7K net worth lead, right? So again, the Dire, this is really back and forth. The Dire had an advantage. They were pushing high ground. They had one bad team fight. There were 2 buybacks they probably should have disengaged from. And if you look at that team fight, from then on, it seems like they've completely turned this game around. Frosty Fire, that is, right? The Sand King's been making plays. If we're looking at KDA, 11, 9, and 12. That's pretty decent. Obviously, the 9 deaths is a little worrying. It's a lot of deaths, but, I mean, you're being focused, right? Cat Chaser doing a lot of work, so to speak. If we're looking at net worth, the Mirana, right? This is your carry, right? This is a little worrying as the Dire, right? You want your carry to just completely control the game after the 20-minute mark. You haven't been able to do that, right? So now you're relying kind of on your Kunkka and your Bristle to just kind of create some space. But in my opinion, the Kunkka kind of, or the Bristle, kind of falls off a little bit. It looks like we're going Halvin's Halberd. Not a bad item against the Slark. You need some ways to deal with him. But the Shadow Blade not being used, it looks like he's going for Basher first, Basher Abyssal, and then the Silver Edge, because it realizes that the Bristle's actually not super tanky at this point. They have enough burst, it seems, so they don't really have to worry too much about that, especially with the Sand King, with the Veil, and of course the Skywrath and the Lion. Just the amount of burst that you can do with all that magic damage, it's quite a lot. So Sand King does have his Ags. I just picked it up, and it looks like they're going to look to smoke here. This is perfect. You hit a peak, you got your next big item, and what do? You smoke up and you want to fight. This is perfect. Invis being used up by the Bristle, not ideal, but he walks into the Roche pit, sees that it's up, but it seems like they're just going to, this is like a Mexican standoff, I would say, you know, right? The river, they don't want to cross. They're just kind of keeping themselves spaced out. A Torn is being used, just kind of push the wave. The Slark is there, and the stun gets off. Moonlight is also being used. The Silence as well, but how much can they do? They're looking to turn this around. Greaves is also being used. The Lion goes down a little too far in. The Mystic Flare doesn't do any damage. The stun gets on the Silencer, but how much can they do? They're looking to turn this around. Oh, the Silencer so low. The Slark just trying to do as much work as possible. Pounces off the mark. They're trying to at least get the Mirana. The stun gets off the Sand King there. And then 3 for 2 so far. They're looking to turn this around. The Kunkka is just trying to do his right click. He does have Radiance, and they're looking to turn this around. The Slark is just trying to run away, trying to get some heals, and they're looking to see what they can do. The TP from the Sand King is just getting out of there. So that was a 3 for 2. You killed the Mirana. I think that's going to be a win for the Radiant side, especially since you only lost your 2 supports. Not a bad fight there. Again, the Dire really need to find the right fights. I feel like they're, I mean, again, the Lion and the Skywrath, again, you need to kill those things, great, but you need to control the Slark. You need to figure out some way to kind of keep your Silencer and your Ogre alive, because those are the ones that are going to keep your, you know, the control of the fight, so to speak, especially with the Sand King just doing as much work as he's doing. But Sand King, look at this. Ags, Lotus, Pipe, like if you have like travel, like you can split push and you can just kind of create as much space as possible. The Leshrac has been kind of quiet throughout. She's been in the right fights, and she does have the Shivas, which is pretty big against the the Kunkka right clicks, and of course the Morana, who seems to be going more of a right click build, especially with this Monkey King or so the MKB and the Manta. Obviously she has ways to purge it off, but again, it's the right click action, and you just slowing it down with the Shivas. So not a bad item choice there. Now we're looking at this 40 minutes, right? Nobody's been going for Roche. Yeah, you've gotten some kills, but at the end of the day, it's about objectives. I feel like they could close these games out a little bit faster if they were a little bit more in sync in terms of, yes, we got 3-2 or whatever in terms of the kills. Let's look to turn this into some sort of push and do as much damage as possible. But at this point, oh, the Kunkka does see the Sand King, but with the arrow and the boat and another stun. They didn't really stack it, but they do have the silence. He doesn't have anywhere to go. The Atos is being used. They do kill the Sand King. He does have buyback if he wants to use it. The Leshrac has been X'd forward. He's going to get used. The pipe is there. The Sand King is going to buy back. They're going to look to turn this around. Even Roche is just walking out of this. And oh my gosh, that Pulse Nova is doing a lot of work. Kills the Ogre. And it looks like they're going to turn around, get the Silencer as well. 3 for 2. And it gets the Mystic Flare on the Bristle with the fail. That just makes short work. That's a 4 for 1, because they did have a buyback on that piece. And it looks like they're going to go. High ground. They're going to push out the wave. I like this play. Just push out the wave. Do a little damage on that T3. Leshrac doesn't really care, and he's going to go solo. They do have backdoor protection, so the mid lane does need to push. Flip is being used. Once the creeps are in position, that will actually stop the backdoor protection from the top. And of course, this Leshrac, look how much work they do. Does all that, and it just melts it. Needs to kind of just move in, gets the melees that he's focusing on. Oh, he does get shot with the Kunkka. The Veil is being used as well. But the Lion, oh, too slow. But looks like they're kind of, I don't know. They're diversifying their focus fire, so to speak, in the sense that they're trying to go for the mid racks and the top racks. They get the mid one. Lotus is going to knock away. Okay, they do get the top one as well, so that was the right call. Okay, I've been wrong before, so I'm going to admit when I'm wrong now. And they do get 2 lanes of racks. That was a disastrous fight for the Dire. Now it looks like they're looking to do a Moonlight, trying to get as much trying to get something out of this, right? You need to get some sort of gank. But tactical pause? No, just DC from Lion there, from Mei, from Mimi. A little bit of an issue with connection. She'll probably be back. Now, mind you, we have a little bit of a couple seconds. Let me give a shout out to our sponsor, Dreamcore Yahoo, Aftershock, Elgato, Overdrive, and Super Solid. And of course, FSL for sponsoring and running this league. Without them, we wouldn't have had this. And this great opportunity. This is a great league to just showcase the power of the female Dota scene. All of these teams are in SEA. We have 30 teams. That's pretty respectable. And to be honest, they're pretty high quality level. Again, we haven't done, or I haven't done my research in terms of where these guys are in terms of Divine and Immortal, because of the fact that we have the new ranking system and people haven't calibrated everything yet. So again, I'm not 100% sure where these players are, but this is definitely looking like a very high level game. The teams have been in sync throughout. Obviously, their combinations have been quite good. So these players have been playing with each other, and it's nice to see a really back and forth game. So Mimi is back. She apologizes for the pause, so to speak, but looking to turn this around. The Torrent is off the mark, but does get X back, but it doesn't have vision for the Sand King. Oh, they see it now. The sentry is now being placed. They should have seen the Sand King, but they actually don't get anything out of that. The Silencer here, catches him out. The Burrow Strike is on him as well. The 2-man Earth Spike, very nicely played there. And the Rod of Atos is going to catch down that Bristle. He's got nowhere to go. The Silencer is going to be the first one to fall. And with all of that combination, I mean, even the arrow hits, but the Kunkka and the Morana were so far back. The Bristle was just completely by himself. Him with the Silencer, got nowhere to go, and they're going to have to tuck tail and run. Just salvage what they can. Now, The Radiant team, they've pushed out the wave, and it looks like they're going to just probably go high ground. There's only a buyback from Silencer. They don't know that the Bristle doesn't have buyback yet. If we're looking at the amount, she has nowhere near buyback. She needs 900 more gold. I don't think she's going to get that. And that looks to be another lane of Rex. I don't know how you fight into this. The Silencer does need to come back, but this Sand King is doing a lot of work. The ult is being used. The arrow hits, but it's been BKB'd, so it doesn't do any damage. The Abyssal is going to lock down that Ogre. The Torrents, oh, nope. Okay, it's going to miss, but it's going to look to turn around, and they're going to look to just take out the Rex. Let's go Megas. And the boat coming. He's going to catch out at least the boat is off the mark. And so here we got mega creeps. The two-man stun, this Sand King. Cat Chaser doing a lot of work. The Mystic Flare is going to kill the Kunkka. Does have buyback. You got to just keep yourself alive for 10 more seconds. Get that Bristle back up. The Ogre goes down as well. Ogre, you got to buy back. You got nowhere to go. The Sand King is going to hit the arrow. Oh, but the Piranha solo doesn't have buyback. She does get the arrow on the Sand King, but she walks into the Sandstorm, and she just dies. The T4, the first of the two, go down. How much can they do? How can they protect themselves? Two-man Sandstorm into all of this. Three men are literally just stepping into the Sandstorm. The Ogre's looking to go down. You got nowhere to go. And the two-man stun from this Sand King. This Cat Chaser has been on point. And the Ancient has not been exposed yet, but the Kunkka and the Silencer are completely having to run away. And this is looking to be T4. And I have no idea how you stop this. The Kunkka's BKB's trying to just keep himself alive. This Ancient is going down. The arrow's going to hit, but it doesn't really matter. And again, the Sand King will go down, but at what cost when your Aegis goes down? GG, well played. 45-35, 45 minutes. Wow, well played. That was really back and forth. I mean, we saw the power of, the Dire, their lineup, right? They had all 5 push. They were going high ground. They took one bad fight, and Rubik's Female just completely falls apart at that point, right? And so, to be honest, and I hate to point fingers, I feel like this is a game really where Infinity kind of, she did well, especially with the 5-man, the push lineup and all that stuff, but her arrows were kind of off the mark. I feel like this is where a familiarity thing, where she wasn't too familiar with Mirana, just making sure that you can get the X combo into the arrows and all of that. Just kind of like she didn't seem as refined, so to speak, as the Slark was. The Slark realizing that once she had a certain point, she got what? The Shadow Blade, the BKB, once it was at that point, it was kind of like she could turn that around. She got Abyssal, and it was just like pretty much all she wrote. I mean, 17 Essence Shift, I mean, it's just massive in terms of damage that you could do, and all that's been stolen. But the Silencer right here, 42, you kind of did your job, right? One thing to note was probably the ults. I think that you kind of timed it a little bit better. I think they were a little bit early. Like you start the fight, and then once the team fight actually happens, and then everybody's together and your team is jumping into it, that's when you want to ult, right? Like I feel like the Sand King is initiating on you, and then you're kind of defensively, reflexively turning that around, and you're kind of using it more reactively, right, as a defensive measure. I think that your lineup wants to do more of a ganking action. That said, still a great game. 45-35, great game right there. That was what? 45 minutes in, a great game throughout. We'll probably see Frosty Fire later throughout. Rubik's Female, I mean, this is nothing to be saddened about, so to speak. You're going to get back. Obviously, you just clean up a little bit things here and there, and you should be fine. But we're going to go into the next game soon, probably in about 5-10 minutes. But Valor Esports, those guys are from Indonesia. They're going to go against Wild Warrior, which are from Myanmar, and we have some stand-ins from Vietnam. So we'll get into that action very, very soon, but we're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be back to you shortly. Hello and welcome back to the FSL Circuit Dota 2 League. We have two amazing teams. We have Wild Warriors and we have Valor Esports. Wild Warriors are for Myanmar. They do have a couple people from, I believe, from Vietnam. And then we have Valor Esports, who are from Indonesia. And those guys are a mainstay in FSL. They've been here almost since the inception of the league, I would say. They've been here for quite some time, and they are notable, and they're a very, very strong team. Now, mind you, this is the FSL Circuit. What exactly does that mean, right? You have 30 teams. All of them are female Dota players. You have split into two different groups, Groups A and Group B. This is Group A. Basically, we have 15 teams that are vying for the top 4, right? We do a whole bunch of round robins, best of ones, to figure out who the best teams are. Once we figure those out, the top 4 from each group, so that's 4 and 4. So now you got 8. And so now we got those 8 teams are going to be in the playoffs, right? And the playoffs are going to be on October 26th through 27th. We're going to figure out who the best team is, and then the best 2 team, I believe. And then we're going to have FSL Elite, and that's going to be in Singapore. That's going to happen later in November. It's probably going to have all the teams that are going to participate in that. They're going to fly on out, and they're going to have a great time in Singapore. That said, we're getting into the game right now. This is going to be Wild Warriors versus Valor Esports. We're seeing the first set of bans picks. I think the ones that really stick out is the fact that Wild Warriors had the first pick, so they didn't ban out the Night Stalker hoping that they would get it. They ended up getting it. I think that this hero can be broken. I think it's very, very strong in this patch. The reason being is that the whole Void change, the fact that it works during the day, he's just a strong laner. He's a menace when it comes to nighttime. Like this is like he's really Batman in the sense that he's he's kind of like Batman, but not really Bruce Wayne, right? Because Bruce Wayne is kind of not really feared, so to speak, in the day. But this Night Stalker is actually scary almost throughout the entire game. I mean, once you get Dark Ascension, you're talking about what, like 6 minutes? 6 of the 10 minutes, I would say. Sorry, let me do this math correctly. 1 minute approximately of the 5 minutes a day that you have of each cycle that you're talking about. And just the fact that he is night for so long, he's got the vision for you, he can jump on top of you, he can, blink, the silence, and your support is pretty much dead. So, that said, Valor Esports need ways to deal with this guy. Right, you have to counterpick against this guy. You don't want weak supports. You don't want really a whole bunch of like Lina CM types. You want more of the tankier types like the Ogre, which we see here, picked by Valor Esports. Now, the Bane, I'm not a huge fan of. I think the combination, it depends on really what you're looking at. Maybe they were hoping for like a Bane Mirana, but then realized that the Night Stalker was there, and then that's probably not something that you want to go into. That said, the Wild Warriors is going with a Jakiro pick. Nice little combination in terms of with Night Stalker, because he'll jump on top of you, blink, void somebody, and the Jakiro can kind of get the ice path on top of you, and just the amount of damage that's going to happen. He provides a lot of push. He melts towers. He's a great laner. The only thing I don't like about Jakiro is the fact that he's fugly. Okay, he's really ugly. Like, I don't know. I would not date him. I'm not into Jakiro types. Sorry if you are. But he does nothing for me. That said, we're going into the next set of bans. The Slark and the PL ban. I think PL has gotten better, especially since some of the more AoE-centric heroes have kind of not completely fallen off, because this is Dota at the end of the day, where all heroes are playable, but like the Ember types, right? He's not as good as he once was.
10 seconds
I still think he has a play. That said, Valor Esports must have maybe they're going for something that's that can be easily countered by the PL, and hence either looking to block him or they just don't want to deal with him, because he can be kind of annoying because he's just so many illusions. How do you deal with that? You have to then counterpick against him. You need to have some AoE stuns, AoE yourself to kind of deal with him. Maybe they didn't want to deal with that. But Wild Warriors with a Mirana ban, I think that's a good ban. I think Mirana is actually a top 10 hero. I think it's very powerful, but I like it more of a support. Reason being is that it just adds so much. She does everything, right? She does damage. She gives you, Moonlight when you want to run away, and of course, Moonlight just to engage. It's just super powerful. That said, Valor Esports Bloodseeker. Okay, I think the hero is better than it once was. I think that some of the other heroes have fallen off. I don't think you're going to see him. I mean, he's definitely a core. I don't think it's going to be an off lane. I believe it will probably be your carry. It does go mid as well. I mean, it just wrecks invokers. But it really depends on what they go for. That said, I'm not a huge fan of picking it early. I feel like Bloodseeker does have some weaknesses. But maybe he's trying to kind of cope for the fact that you're going to have to deal against the Night Stalker, right? Who's going to kind of void you to death. Jakiro kind of chip you down, so to speak, with his his DOTs and all that. But you have the Bloodseeker, you have a way to heal. So, and at the end of the day, the Night Stalker wants to go in and out. So maybe they're looking to kind of stop him with Rupture to kind of lock him into place, because obviously Batman can't run when he's bleeding. So it's a nice way to lock him down. Maybe they're thinking like that. But he does have weaknesses again. It really depends. Like, I think Wild Warriors are put in this conundrum, and they're using some of their reserve time to figure out what exactly they want to lane against this thing. And AA is one of those things. It stops the heal. It creates a little bit of, if you've got nice vision with the Night Stalker, you can kind of AoE into hopefully somebody you can just gank with Night Stalker. It doesn't really... I mean, it kind of works with Jakiro in the sense that you can kind of Ice Path, you have that AoE lockdown, and then you can kind of Ice Blast on top of that. It is a strong laner, Ancient Apparition that is, and it goes well. Jakiro is a strong laner as well. But my biggest worry right now is I'm not seeing the lockdown, right? Like, what happens if Valor Esports decides to go straight up, like Quap types, Puck, AM, anybody who can just get away? I think you're going to struggle with that. The Jakiro is really not reliable, and it's definitely dangerous. Definitely something you need to kind of look out for. But Wild Warriors, let's see what they can kind of come out with. Now, if we're looking at the names of Wild Warriors, NSH, Sayar, Shinlei, and then 707, is she the stand-in? Is that why? Yeah, okay. All right, so the stand-in is there. But Pango, cool. Again, this is a really good hero because you don't have the lockdown. The Jakiro, the Ancient Apparition, don't really have the lockdown to deal with the Pango. If he rolls out on you, rolling boulders, he's just going to destroy you. But here comes the Wraith King. Do you like that matchup against the Pango, though? I think that's kind of like a 50-50. I mean, with the Jakiro, the Ancient Apparition, I think you're going to have a strong lane. That said, Bane and Ogre are very strong laners themselves. So,
10 seconds remaining.
Cool, good to know. So 707 is actually not a stand-in. She's an official player. I think she's just too cool to have the Wild Warriors tag to her name, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But we're into the last round. We're not seeing mids from either end. I'm pretty sure you're not going to see a Bloodseeker mid. The Pugna ban is good. And the Ember one as well. Which is actually my first initial thoughts to kind of round out Valor Esports. But without an Ember, they don't really have the push that I'm seeing from Valor. I really think they need somebody who can kind of take down towers.
10 seconds
like
remaining.
DK?
5 seconds remaining.
Maybe? Wind Ranger? I think that these are all kind of in play for, at least for Valor. Wild Warriors, on the other hand, DK as well, because obviously the Bloodseeker is not really going to go anywhere. You do need some way to kind of, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with a Pango on this one? All right, well, we're going to have to think about that one. Obviously, Wild Warriors are put in that awkward position where they're the ones that have to choose. Tiny mid? I mean, it kind of works, but it really depends. Because Wild Warriors, you want something that's like not counterable, right? You don't have last pick, so you know that whatever they bring, they're going to kind of keep themselves protected, I would say. And so you want something that's well-rounded that can kind of do it. So, okay, Wind Ranger, I did call that one. So points to me. Obviously, I'm by myself, so I think I win this game no matter what. But I think, okay, how you deal with a Wind Ranger, Kunkka, I think destroys the Kunkka. Or, sorry, Kunkka destroys the Wind Ranger. And it actually kind of does what they want to do. It kind of has the control. Remaining. It has, obviously, the boat, the X, all of these things are a way to deal with it, but
5
you need some
seconds
sort of way to kind of get to the AA. Okay, the Zeus is another way to get to the AA. I think they like that lane, the Zeus versus the Wind Ranger. I'm okay with that, but 707 needs to be very careful in how she proceeds, right? Wind Ranger is kind of squishy. She can die easily to Zeus's burst. She's just got to come prepared. She's got to have the right amount of regen, and the laning is going to be super important for this. This game is going to come down to how they deal with Night Stalker, right? If Night Stalker has a good game, it's game over. Wild Warriors, easy win, right? But if Valor can somehow shut down the Night Stalker, make it somewhat difficult where he's kind of stuck doing more running than going in, and just kind of, because he wants to kind of go in and out, right, depending on what he's up against. And I feel like this is one of those games where it's going to really test Sayar Magi. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, and I apologize in advance. But Night Stalker, this game is completely on you. If you can win this game, it's going to come down to that first night. How much space can she create? Mind you, we're going to go into Game 2 shortly. This is the FSL circuit for Dota 2. This is Game 2. We have 2 more games coming at you later today. We have 4 games coming at you tomorrow. We're going to have games every Saturday and Sunday. The groups are going to completely continue with this this structure, so to speak, until we get to the playoffs, which is going to be October 26th through 27th. My name is Gene. You can or my name is Holler. You can find my real name is Gene. You can find me at Holler on Facebook. You can find me on any of the social media on Holler TV. Feel free to give me a shout out if you don't like some of the things that I say or you want to come at me. Feel free to go ahead, as I'm more than happy to bring it, so to speak.
Prepare for battle.
So we're going to go into the Dire One team first. We're going to see Grace Lynn and Alien Zoe, the Bloodseeker here. That's going to be a pretty strong lane, I would say. Zeus, no big surprises there. Oops, no big surprises here. Zeus is going to play the mid, coming in with only 1 tango. Does have a salve as well. And then Xavier will be the mid. And then Sky on the Ogre, and the Pango with Ikoman on the Pango. We're going to see Jakiro here, quick ward, NSH, Sayar Magi, Night Stalker, 707 on the Wind Ranger, Wraith King, Shinlei, and then of course, lastly but not finally,
30
Riley,
seconds to battle.
Riley, Baby Feed. Okay, so the Wraith King is in position. I don't see, like, too much will go on. I don't think they're going to contest. As I say that, Bloodseeker gets into position to kind of just make his way through. Now, mind you, the Radiant team do have 3 that looks like they're going to contest. They're going to move on through. Oh, the Jakiro spots the Bloodseeker, and he's going to look to just kind of get through. The Windrunner is being activated a little early, but he's just completely zoned out that Bane. And he's going to kind of move through. And then the Bloodseeker gets slowed down, but it looks like he's going to get 1 for that one. And then on the bottom of the other, the Ogre steals it as well. So 2 for 2 so far. Now, Ancient Apparition was actually right-clicking there. I felt like she could have done a better job in just securing this rune. That said, Ogre's going to just happily walk back. Congratulations to Ogre for winning the Arcana. And he wins a rune in that sense, too. So, Night Stalker here. This is going to be the all-encompassing, most important lane, I would say. With Sayar, how much can she do? The dual breath is being used on this Bane. Just trying to create as much space as possible. I would prefer it if the Night Stalker would kind of help out and just focus fire the same one so that the damage-wise, we're talking the same, because this Jakiro is getting very, very low. Completely committing to everything. Very, very low in the sense that she's only got 52 seconds left before she can even tango with the shared one as well. So Night Stalker being very smart, avoiding out the range creeps, very, very important. You do not want to get those denied. You need to secure those range creeps. And doing it by spells is probably very, very important as well. So the Jakiro here, just getting the clarity up. They're going to look to turn to go on Bane, but Bane gets the right click, cancels the clarity by Jakiro. And while the Jakiro does have boots, she doesn't really have anything else. So, to be honest, I don't even know how boots work on a Jakiro, something that's flying, but, you know, I'm not into that. So, we'll see what's going on with that. Now, Wind Ranger gets the lucky evade there. Does have a Fairy Fire. Zeus has a Salve if he wants to use it. He's just going to kind of move that into position. So, if we're looking at last hits, Pango in the lead. Bloodseeker's second place. Oh, now it takes the lead. The Night Stalker's getting a little low, but she does have 6 last hits, which is pretty decent. But she's very, very low in terms of this. She's got to be super careful. Might get slept here. Slept, and he gets the steal, the sap. Okay, and that will be, she was too low. I'm not sure what she was trying to do. You got to be very, very careful against this Bane. It's very, it's deceiving, I would say, because the brain sap just so much damage, and you can kind of catch people off guard. So you got to be a little bit careful. So Wraith King gets killed on the bottom. A little bit of stun action with the Pango. In terms of the swashbuckle, doing a little bit of damage there. Now Haste is here in the mid. The Zeus is kind of moving around. This gets a little bit of burst. Not much else. The Jakiro, super fast. Oh, they're gonna, oh, look at them. Like 2 lovers. Just leaving them alone. This is a better love story than Twilight. Oh, the Jakiro just kind of running away. Oh, does get power shotted. And all they wanted to do was to be left alone, but the Wind Ranger just kind of interrupted. So, Bloodseeker here, level 3. Night Stalker level 2. He's about to tick. But you want to get at least level 4, preferably level 5 if possible, by first night. He's getting zoned out here with the Bane moving through. I feel like Jakiro and Night Stalker, they need to focus the same guy. Like the Night Stalker was hitting the Bloodseeker and just kind of not doing enough damage, so to speak. And so this Bane one-on-one is easy against the Jakiro. And Bane pops off another Clarity. That's 2 Clarities used and interrupted very early. If we're looking at, oh, Dual Breath is being used. The Sap, the Sleep is being also used on the Jakiro. He does get the right click. The Bloodseeker's coming along. He's moving through. He gets the right click, and that should be another kill. Quick 3-0 for Valor Esports, but Bane is looking probably to, nope, he's going to run away. He's got boots. Night Stalker doesn't, oh, does have boots, but isn't very fast at night. Now let's check out the bottom lane. If we're looking at the Wraith King here, the Bloodlust, which is very good. The AA, the stun, okay, gets him on the Ogre. The Swashbuckle, just trying to buy time. The Wraith King is going to probably have to back up. Oh, but the stun is being used on the AA. No, he's been disarmed. Oh, RNGs. Look at that. He gets the disarm on the Wraith King. He's got nowhere to go. The Ogre's trying to take up as much as he can. He turns around, he gets the stun, but that should just secure it for the Pango, and he gets a double kill there. Well played. I mean, you're going to sacrifice yourself, and then now the healing salve comes up, and that's just going to be up. The full Pango Leer right to the mid. So if we're looking at the Zeus, the power shot is still up. The mana clarity, the salve, and but 5-minute runes. This is where Night Stalker kind of shows his aggression, his strength, so to speak. At 5 minutes, well, the first thing he does, if you notice, is he just stays in the lane, meaning that she knows that she's too weak, right? Like you want to be at least level 4. She's trying to secure as much creep, as many creeps as possible. But the Night Stalker is very low at this point. Level 3, you got to be super careful. Oh, keeps the clarity up. The Bloodseeker through all of that actually didn't turn around. You probably want to stomp that clarity. As Bloodseeker, I probably would have done that, but the Bloodseeker's apparently too scared to fight at night, and doesn't want to get any sort of action against this Night Stalker, who really isn't doing that much. I mean, level 3 isn't too much. The level 2 Hunter in the Dark, what is it called? Hunter in the Night is probably when you want to, you have to fear him a bit. So now he's level 4. So now you got to be a little bit scared. But the Bane is pulling on the back end of this, trying to create a little bit more space, because obviously this is a terrible spot for the Dire to be in. Now the bottom lane, Wraith King, level 3. Just hit level 4 against the level 5 Pango. This is not a good spot. Wraith King doesn't really have much. This is a bit of a worry. It has boots lined up, or queued up, excuse me, but at the end of the day, this is really far behind. She is not doing very well. She's 16-4 if we're looking at net worth. Look, the Wraith King, bottom 3, right? This is not where you want to be. I mean, you're below your Night Stalker and. Speaking of Night Stalker, he's almost got his phase. He does need to zone out. He does need to win this laning phase. Oh, kill. This is the problem. The Wraith King's so low. It was a little bit. He doesn't even have the mana to do anything. He does have boots. Oh, and the Swashbuckle forward gets the stun. Doesn't matter if it's under the tower or not. The Pango will secure that kill with another double kill for Ikamon here. This Ikamon, she's kind of tearing it up. 5-0-0. So if I had somebody, oh, a little bit of action here. Nope, no actual death. Oop, gets the stun off. The Night Stalker gets destroyed. From long distance. Easy kill. I mean, that's the power of the Zeus. Just always need to be a little bit, make sure you're about 33% life, I would say. Just make sure you're safe so that you just don't get bursted down like that. Batman being dead at night, not a good sign for them. So the 5K net worth lead, 8-1 advantage. But again, this goes back to the Icomon right here. You have an early Javelin. This is super early. 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Does a Maelstrom lined up. Looks to get a, and they're going to go to the Wraith King. Level 4, he got nowhere to go. Oh, and he's going to roll on out. Oh, the stun. He's going to go one more time. The rolling boulder. He got nowhere to go. The Wraith King. No TP is going to save you there. And beep, beep, Asian driver coming along. So that's going to be an easy kill for the Pango. That is 6 kills to Pango. Icomon. Wow. Very nicely played. Now this is where, Focus Fire is being used. She's going to dive. She doesn't have Wind Run. She does get, oh, the power shot is off the mark. Oh, the heal on the save from the sky. The Ogre with a nice stun, and the Ogre, or the Zeus, is just going to limp away. Oh, wow. That was very, very close. But nice DP there by Ogre, securing the kill. This is 10-1. And so this is super scary now. Bloodseeker, level 7. You rupture him, where are you going to go? Rupture? Now the Night Stalker's got nowhere to go. The Bane, they realize that they can just get the free right clicks on him. He's going to look at TP, but it's a little too late now. Oh, but the sleep stops him. He's got nowhere to go. Oh, and the Bloodseeker, realizing that that one has been secured, he's looking to turn this around. The Jakiro, oh, and the double kill from the Zeus. This happens like every single one of my games, right? You secure the kill, and what happens? Thunder God's Wrath comes out of nowhere, steals everything. But nonetheless, he's securing the kills. 12-2. Very nicely played. The Zeus is actually kind of pulling away as well. Level 8 versus the level 7 of 707 Wind Ranger. The Wraith King has actually had such a terrible laning. She's level 5 and 9 minutes that she's been completely pushed back into the jungle. She's got nowhere to go. The AA at this point, you got to give him levels to get to level 6. And so Pango here doesn't really care your tower or not. Low enough, I'm going to go for it. Asian driver coming along. Beep, beep, kills the AA. The Bloodseeker here just pushing the wave and taking some jungle creeps in the meantime. She's going straight up. First big item, Radiance. I'm okay with that, actually. It'll really mess up the Night Stalker. Oh, and the stun here catches him out. The Wind Run being used just to keep herself alive. A TP's coming. The power shot will hit, but not a whole lot of damage. Oh, AA with the right click, but the evade. RNG. How can you hit a god when he's going uphill? The Bane is level 4. This is going to be 10-minute rune soon. And the Bane doesn't really care about the rune. He's going for the sleep into the Wraith King, who does have reincarnation up. But, I mean, easy first kill, but how's the second kill? Is anyone going to help her? Okay, here comes the Jakiro. Somebody's coming along. They do get 1 stun. The Skeleton Army, very, very small. The Ice Path catches out 2, but the Penguin will probably just run away. They're going to just disengage here. The Wraith King, he's got nowhere to go. The sleep, and they're just going to secure the runes, and they're just going to back up. Zeus, on the other hand, a little bit of a tango with the Wind Ranger. And it looks like they're just going to secure both the runes. And they kill the Skeleton Army. And the Bloodseeker's moving along. He does have Rupture. This is the perfect... Oh, he gets the... Okay, I thought he was going to get the Rupture first. The Wind Run just trying to create a little bit more space. Okay. I think this is a little too early for the Bloodseeker to be moving around. Obviously, she wants to use Rupture whenever it's off cooldown, and I get that. But you're leaving the Night Stalker alone to come back into this game, right? Oh, Pango Lear. And this is just easy killing. So Ice Path will protect himself with the stun, gets the Jakiro, the Swashbuckle. And that's going to be a dead one. And the Wind Ranger with a DD. Easy kill for the against the Zeus. So the Night Stalker trying to catch back up. Okay. Interesting. It's going to go for Medallion first. They get to steal the Void. 11:20. Still during the day. Doesn't have the mana for the Dark Ascension. Through that Void. Oh, with the Rupture here. He's got nowhere to go. He's going to try to run. No, he's not. He's going to fight, but he's got nowhere to go. and they realize that with the stun, the Bloodseeker's just too fast. This is the problem. The Rupture, right, is just completely controlling this Night Stalker. He's got nowhere to go. This AA, it doesn't matter if you're your tower or not. The Bloodseeker's going to heal off of you, and that's an easy kill for the Bloodseeker. And that's 205. And look at this, the Pango Lear, 901. What is going on? The Pango is still around, and it looks like they're going to probably get the Jakiro as well. The Bane's running for his life. The power shot off the mark. Doesn't really hit anything. The Pango, on the other hand, Maelstrom, full boots at 12 minutes. She is having one heck of a game right now. So the Zeus here has Invis, if she wants to use it. Does have Aether queued up. I think once you get Ags, this game is going to be pretty much over with 18-3. But we're looking at the top end. The Bloodseeker is gone on. He's near his buddy, the Ogre, who pretty much just, whenever the Rupture is up, right? So he can just Rupture you, and then the stun will guarantee that you can't TP away. The Bloodseeker does have the Midas and is completely controlling the top part of the Radiant jungle. And the Rupture, again, one more time. What can you do? And you got the stun in just to secure that Night Stalker. And the Wind Rager is continuing the TP. They're going to look to at least get this the Shackle on the Ogre. The Jakiro's around, but that is not somebody you want to fight as it suits. A little bit of right-click action, catching in. The sleep on the Bane is on the perfect side of this. He does have Fiend's Grip if he wants to use it. The Ice Path will kind of lock him in down, but the Ogre's there. Another stun. The Pango's coming along. The Fiend's Grip is being used on the Jakiro. Got nowhere to go, and the Pango's going to roll out and get the secure the kill. I knew that was going to happen. From, what, 11 kills? 11-0-1 Pango? Who's the carry at this point? I don't even know. But very nicely played. A nice rotation there. Yeah, you're giving the Wraith King a little bit of space, but he's so far off. He doesn't even have Midas at 14 minutes. And probably won't be getting it till, like, what, 17, 18 minutes at this point? He is struggling a bit, or she is struggling at this point. The Night Stalker is in a bad spot as well. Trying to at least get Medallion, right? Like, she just needs at least one, like, Medallion maybe to help her gank in the next night, because she needs to make her presence known. This is like the last night she gets, pretty much. If she doesn't do well in this lane, or in this night, this game is over. But the Pango's here. This guy's got a huge bounty on her head. 11-0-1. He doesn't like this to give assists, apparently, but they're all in position, trying to take away as much space as possible. But the Bloodseeker completely by himself gets killed by 4 people. That's one way to deal with it, but it looks like they're going to sacrifice the mid T1 in the meantime.
Radiant structures are
Knight is being used, Dark Ascension that is.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But what is she going to do? She does have her Medallion now. But the Zeus... So the 15-minute mark. Okay. The Zeus is around. I think they need a push. Okay. So this is the second night. This is all on the Night Stalker. What can she do? How can she salvage this game? So TP's coming in. It looks like some action is going to happen bottom. They do have 3 Dire folks nearby. The Wraith King is also here. It does have Reincarnation. But they're going to get pushed. The Wind Ranger's here. The Shackle catches it on the Pango. That's the one you want. The Void as well, but it didn't combo that as well. You got to stack the stuns. It's a little too early. Now Rolling Boulder, and that looks like that Pango is going to completely disengage. Oh, no. So the target was the right one. You needed to kill that Pango because you need to stop her from completely snowballing. She has a giant streak on her head. But you need to stack the stuns, right? She was shackled and the Void happened. You need to kind of make sure that everything is in play, so to speak. The Wraith King wasn't even in position. Just a little over-eager, I would say. But that said, the Dire can kind of push the other lanes. The Bloodseeker, there's a little bit of pressure going top and as well as the mid lane. If you can take that mid T1 at nighttime, that is a massive win for Dire. That said, the Night Stalker just kind of running around. He does a Medallion. Not doing much. I think this Batman is more Bruce Wayne than Batman this game, as she's kind of dilly-dallying, so to speak, and not really getting the kills. She's just kind of taking the creeps, but how is she going to deal with this? They have 4 here. They have to get something out of this. The Fiend's Grip gets on the Night Stalker. The Ice Blast, the Ice Path as well. The Night Stalker is going to continue to move forward. Thunder God's Wrath as well, but the Pengo's going to run in. The Rupture is now being used, and he's going to run after the Windrunner, and he's got nowhere to go, especially with Blade Mail. You can't deal with that. And so they're going to continue to run. They're going to run after the Wraith King, who does have Reincarnation, but that just means he's a Gemini in the sense that he's going to die twice. He's got nowhere to go. The Swashbuckle's off the mark. The Wraith King is going to continue to run for his life. He's got Reincarnation going up once. The second time, the Blood Rights, the stun, got nowhere to go. The silence, and again, secures the second kill. Well played. 4-0. 16K net worth lead. It's only been 17 minutes. What do we do? A bit crazy. They need to take the towers. I mean, they're winning fights at nighttime. That's how bad the Night Stalker had in terms of this laning phase. This is very, very difficult for them. Right? Just dealing with this. The Wraith King hasn't gotten to a good start. Doesn't have Midas yet. I said 17 minutes, and it's looking to be way beyond that, especially with that last death. The Night Stalker, on the other hand, is looking to go pipe. Can't even go aggressive items, right? That's the sort of dire straits that she's in. So another Rupture coming through. Even with a sleep, he's going to wait this one out. And that's going to be a dead AA. Wind Ranger on the other end of that just gets a power shot. But again, she does have Maelstrom. But this is a bit of an issue with the... Oh my gosh. Another kill on the Wraith King. Like, at this point, the Wraith King, you need to go in another lane. You need to go top. You need to go somewhere else. You need to go in the jungle. You cannot fight in this lane at all. It's going to continue to run at you. And mind you, look at this. Bloodlust, Bloodseeker. Look how much work it does. It's so fast. So much damage. So quickly. Easy peasy. Right. And so I love the fact that that Valor Esports are just kind of being very objective based. They're hitting every single Rupture whenever it's off cooldown. Like, they're continuing to wait. Oh, it looks like a little bit of action top. The Windrunner gets Wind running away, but she gets slowed down. She gets Ruptured. She's got nowhere to go, and she's going to die. Nice TP there by the Bloodseeker Alien Zoo. And that's going to be an easy kill for the Bloodseeker. So pretty much every, 60 seconds, whenever this Rupture goes off cooldown, is just another kill. And she's continuing to play around her cooldowns. She's pushing all the lanes in. And just basically, there's no space for this Wraith King. Not safe at all. Again, no Midas. 19 minutes. But it's okay in the sense that the Pango... Oh my gosh. Pango's so fat. Like 19:20. 19 minutes. 11:07. Got Halberd. That is crazy. Like, how do you deal? Like, because Windrunner... Wraith King, Night Stalker, all these guys are pretty much right clickers, right? Your Helvin's Halberd, perfect item choice. Stops all of the above. But Ice Path here catches them out. Dark Sense is being used. They're going to try to turn this around. The Blood Right is also being used. The Ogre tanks it up, taking a lot of damage, gets the stun off. The Ogre will probably die, but here comes the Pango. The rollout, the Rolling Boulder kills the Windrunner. The Night Stalker's got nothing to do, even with a Shrine, and that's going to be 4 for 1. 4 for 2, 4 for 1.5, because the Ogre, because he's got 2 heads. I don't know how this works in terms of the math, but Ogre dies as well. Trying to hopefully boost up the confidence as much as I can of Wild Warriors, knowing that they are very far behind, and they need some sort of way to just keep themselves motivated, you know, because late game is where they want to be, right? I think Bloodseeker and Zeus kind of fall off in the end, but if you don't even get to the mid game, which is kind of where we are now, I think you're going to have some issues. Because the Bloodseeker is just doing a lot of work. The Bloodseeker and the Pangolier. 14-08, 8-1-12. I'm actually upset that Bloodseeker died once. Like, this is shame on her, right? Like, she shouldn't have died. Somehow. I don't know. But that's it. Even Ogre's getting in on the action. Has Hand of Midas. Oh my gosh. Did she get it before the Wraith King? Okay, so Wraith King has it as well. But Ogre also has the Midas, meaning that Ogre will scale faster than the Wraith King because he's got multicast. Top 4, all being dire. I mean, they're playing this game perfectly to the T, right? They're putting pressure when they need to, making sure that the waves are all completely pushed out. Basically choking them out. Wild Warriors really don't have any space. I mean, even getting slept here. Like, how do you deal with this? Like, you're so far behind, you need some sort of smoke ink or something. Oh, and the Rolling Boulder just pushing them through. Oh, the Wraith King dies so quickly, reincarnation or not. And the Wraith King is looking to fight this, but, oh, man. with the Blade Mail, all that damage gets reflected onto you. You got nowhere to go. And the Rupture is also going to be used on the Windrunner. The stun, and then the Fiend's Grip got nowhere to go with the Wind Ranger. Swashbuckle, the Night Stalker's here, but it's day. He melts in the day. It burns. And it looks like they're going to look to turn this into a T2 mid. And they're going to continue to push. Now, Wraith King has a buyback. Obviously, you don't want to use it with 10 seconds left on that thing. But Wraith King, man, you have no items. To be honest, this is an issue I see in my my bracket as well, is that you're behind. Midas, okay, I get it. You can come back if you can just delay the game, but Blink? This is where are you going to play to? From here to here? Like the tower and then back to the fountain? Like you have no room. You need some sort of sustainability. You need some sort of items to help you fight. Like even bracers at this point would be a better idea, just to keep you alive a little bit longer. Like you need some ways to kind of deal with this team that's pretty much just running right at you. Reincarnation or not, you're just going to get blown up. So it doesn't look like they're going to go high ground, especially with all 5 of them up now. Bloodseeker being smart. She's going to TP to the top. She's going to push out the top lane and create pressure from all 3 points, knowing that the Radiant have nowhere to go. 707 has got BKB lined up, but on this, it looks like the Dire, Valor Esports, are going to look to just take the first approach. Now, I don't know if anyone's been watching Midas Mode. Have you been Midas Mode? Anyone? Okay. But basically, Midas Mode, they had like a VR Roshan where somebody controls him. And so every time they punch, whoever's controlling the VR, Roshan punches. So he becomes invincible because he's so fast and he does so much damage. I don't know if you've seen that with Midas Mode, but it's actually quite funny. But that said, we have only the normal Roshan here. He's not as good. But they're going to look to turn this around. I don't know why they're delaying and backing up. But the Ice Blast here will probably delay this, knowing that, yeah, they need to back off this. I think this is a little scary. But Bloodseeker, okay, yeah, he's going to back up now. Wait for the Ice Blast to kind of just expire, get himself healed back up. And a Rupture here, perfect timed. And the stun, okay, he's got nowhere to go. He's going to TP on out. Wind Ranger's got nowhere to go. The Radiance. And BKB, he queued up. This is the Bloodseeker, right? This is the power. So they're just going to gang up on poor old Roche. I mean, Roshan didn't do anything, just being very, very comfortable, nice in his own home. And here come 4 people just kind of bashing on his door and just killing him. But this is going to be the first Aegis, 24 minutes. Goes to the Bloodseeker. There is a haste. Yeah, give it to the Bloodseeker. And he's going to run right at you. And the Zeus is actually pushing through illusions. How to deal with this. Okay, so... Oh! Wraith King. I don't know if... obviously, we're on a delay, a 6-minute delay. So I don't know if I talked about the Blink being a bad item 6 minutes ago, but it looks like she's changed course in the sense that she is now going Blade Mail, which is, I think, a smart decision. Because you got to be able to mitigate some of the damage. Oh, just 1 shackle. The Rupture here, the Ice Path's got nowhere to go. The Bloodseeker's getting very, very low. The Aegis is popped. The Rolling Boulder is going to roll out and just hit at least 2 of them. The Fiend's Grip on the Night Stalker's got nowhere to go, and that's going to be a dead one. The Zeus, Thunder God's Wrath. The Pangolier is actually doing some work. The Reincarnation is being used. The Ice Path is going to deter them from moving forward. They're going to look to at least back up. The Pangolier laughing like an evil, evil man. But the Wraith King, what is he going to do? You got no Reincarnation. You can't really fight. You're going to probably have to back up. You lost the Night Stalker. You lost the Wind Ranger. Yes, you did buy back, but I think it's just a matter of just backing up. Get your cooldowns back up. And then just look to turn this around again. Just go slowly but surely. With this Bloodseeker here, just kind of getting into a position. Yeah, it was kind of odd that she had Radiance queued up a 2nd time. And she sees that, and now she's going to go BKB. The Bloodlust is being used on the and Greaves on the Pango, keeping her alive. I think if Pango dies 1 time this game, that is a huge moral victory for Wild Warriors. That should be their #1 objective, just killing Pango once. I think they can pat themselves on the back after that, because this Pango's been just out of control. Greaves, Maelstrom, Heaven's Halberd, super tanky, and just a menace to deal with. Like this Night Stalker, right? Like Batman. This is the real Batman, Pangolier. That said, Bloodseeker here. Moving along. Tessie's Radiance as well. I mean, she's had it for a while, but it looks like she's going to look to take this T3. Doesn't have Aegis, so she does need to be a little bit careful with the Pango there. Does have Grease, but the Ice Path is going to, the Ice with Frostbits in peace. The Ice Blast is going to stop the Greaves. Just going to wait for that one to come out. Glyph is now being used, and now the Greaves has been used. And again, this is just slow sieging. All the lanes have been pushed to a nice spot where nobody's kind of running away. They need to deal with it. The BKB is being used. Are they going to look to turn this away? He does activate his Blade Mail, and he does kill the Night Stalker. And they're going to continue to run on through. 3 down, no reincarnation. That was on cooldown. And so the Pango, has it gone too deep? Nope. The Shackle's not going to hit, and it looks like they're going to take mid-racks here. Bloodlusting everybody, just kind of knocking them all down. Everybody's saying, well played. Now, if they say good game, this game is over, they're not going to do so. I mean, 41-6, 37K net worth lead. You might as well play it all out. Make them earn it, so to speak. But this Bloodseeker, man, very, very crazy. This is super annoying to do it. The amount of heals. The Ice Blast was supposed to kind of take care of that. But when your cores really didn't have that great of a laning phase, this is kind of what happened, right? In the sense that they've kind of snowballed, they've kind of taken the game over. It looks like they're going to back up. Look at this Ogre. Wow. Almost as Hood, as Midas. Oh, it's got Pipe now. I mean, actually, yeah. I mean, if your Pango's going to go more of aggressive items, you know, then I guess the Ogre can kind of go sustainability, dropping Wraith Bands. And so it looks like they're going to take out the Shrine. This is, okay, so he's got Desolator queued up. So
bottom shrine
when you don't have a T1, you don't have any way of doing any damage, and all you have is the reincarnation. Just gotta keep yourself alive. Blade Mail, just to kind of deter them. You're in a bad, bad spot. Like this is such a poor Wraith King. I feel bad, but again, it comes back to the space created. Night Stalker doesn't even have Pipe, whereas Ogre did. And it looks like they're going to go for Night Stalker. They're going to try to find out a way. Mind you, this is nighttime, and yet Night Stalker has to run away into the trees. Because they know that they're going to want the Shrine very quickly. So Bloodlust being used. They're going to look to kind of just throw that Shrine down as quickly as possible. The Zeus is going to back up, kind of make sure that the creep wave is pushing. Put it back to where they want it. And that's going to be a dead Shrine. So objective-wise, all they have left, maybe the next Roche. I didn't catch the timing on that one. But to be honest, I think that you can just start knocking high ground, right? There's no tower here. If you can take this tower, this Rax is pretty much over. But in terms of how they engage is the biggest one here, as it looks like they're going to rotate all bottom. Are they going to look to get the Jakiro? Oh, yes, they are. The Jakiro completely out of position. What are you doing, sir? Completely out. And it's going to be easy picking Ice Path or not. The Rolling Boulder will secure that kill. And again, another kill by Ikoman. 17-0-12. She's just been killing. And that's going to be Bloodlusting. Dark Ascension. Silence, it doesn't really matter. Oh, with a Nimbus. That's a dead Batman. And Bloodseeker's going to look to turn around with BKB. He's looking a little bit slow because nobody's actually low. But the Night Stalker come. Dark Ascension is now being used, but you're not actually fighting. And so I think he just like turn on the lights and be like, oh, maybe if I turn off the lights, they'll be scared and they'll run away. But no, not the case here. It's going to be day soon. The Night Stalker very, very low. Vesseled up, and with the Thunder God's Wrath, that will be a dieback for the Night Stalker. The Blade Mill is going to protect the Wraith King. He's been locked in, but with the Swashbuckle and the Vessel, the Nimbus completely zoning them out. And again, Valor Esports playing very, very smart, playing objective Dota, making sure that they're getting the kills, or the racks, that's what you need, and you're completely zoning them out. And it's just a matter of just moving their way to the top lane. They do have all kinds of creeps, so backdoor protection is not an issue. And here they go. They're going to go for the last T3, and this is the last set of racks. The Night Stalker is dead for 30 more seconds. And the Bloodseeker just kind of running around. I feel like you should... Okay, pushing the wave, trying to keep the Catapult alive. I see it. With the Wind Ranger just power shotting, just keeping them up alive. Getting low, but I don't think it's going to be low enough where the Ogre has to worry from the Ice Blast. Oh, Rupture's now being used. Wind Ranger got nowhere to go. He's going to TP away, and he gets killed. And the BKB and the Rolling Boulder just totally locking them down. The AA buys back, but to what cost? The Fiend's Grip on the back end of this gets the Wraith King with no reincarnation. And it looks And they call GG. The last set of Rex, it was only going to be inevitable. And at 31 minutes, this is a complete blowout. Valor Esports proving why they are one of the best in this league, and they are a team to be reckoned with, so to speak. They were in control from the first minute, and they've taken over, I mean, for 31 more minutes in the sense that they've just controlled this game from the beginning. They didn't really have much of a chance. Wild Warriors, this Pangolier just completely controlling the game. And people saying the off lane is the new carry. I think that this is one of those games that shows exactly why, right? When you go 17-0-18, you completely control the game. They had nowhere to go. Didn't even die once. Like, that is clearly an MVP. Ikoman right there. Completely understanding the limits of that hero. Whoever plays Valor Esports next, you know, big recommendation here. You just got to ban out the Pangolier. Now the next game is going to be Rajoro Wings. That's a team from the Philippines, and they're going to go up against Exquisite, who are also from the Philippines as well. Both very strong teams. We're going to see that coming up. We're going to take a quick 5-10 minute break, and we'll be back with you shortly with more games to go. Hello and welcome back to the FSL Esports League. This is the Dota circuit. This is Group A. This is going to be game number 3 against Exquisite versus Rajora Wings. If you've seen Rajora Wings, you know that these guys are the familiar face in the FSL League. They've been here before. I believe they've been here for about 3 years now. These guys have been playing together for that entire period of time. These ladies are quite good, and they're definitely a team that the other teams need to be worried about. Exquisite and both Rajora Wings are both from the Philippines. So this is kind of like an inter-country rivalry of which is the best team in that country. We're seeing the draft happen right now. We're seeing an Ogre and an Earth Spirit, which is great. I haven't seen much of Earth Spirit as of late. I do play Earth Spirit myself. I do feel like he's kind of not as strong as he used to be. He's been kind of slowly nerfed a lot, and I think he's very difficult to get going. But that said, if they have a great, Rajora Wings have a great Earth Spirit player, I'm more than happy to see it because I just love the way the hero plays. It looks like they're going to look to counterpick all of that, though, with the Dark Willow and the Centaur. Both of these heroes can kind of root him into place. Obviously, the Bramble Maze, the Centaur just being a nuisance, and the Stampede, and just kind of being able to chase him no matter where he goes. But that said, Rajora Wings has got the Juggernaut on that side. So that's the counter, I guess. If you've got Jugs, you counter that with the Centaur. I don't know. I mean, Centaur has been nerfed a lot, right? And I think most recently, he's not as strong as he once was. But he's still, I would say, B tier, right? If we're talking just B, A, and S tier, right? I think that he's still, like, not like S tier as in Sand King, Night Stalker. I think that those two guys are at the top. I think the A tier tends to be like Axe Abaddon type. I think Abaddon is actually really underrated, if you can believe that. And I think a lot of the other ones are like in this kind of B tier where they're good in certain places, like Omni Knight. Centaur is also one of those as well. But it kind of needs its position. It needs its place, so to speak. So, I mean, with Rajora Wings banning out both the Axe and then Exquisite blocking out the Faceless Void, you kind of have an idea of where they're wanting to go. They don't want it to. They didn't want to deal with too tanky of an offlaner. Obviously, the Centaur kind of does that. So you're kind of forcing him into that sort of hero pick. Now, how do they counter this? You have, obviously, from Exquisite, you have the 5 and the 4 with the Dark Will and the Lion, the Centaur, the offlane, obviously. So you're probably picking the carry next, I would think. The Shadow Shaman pick here. That means it's going to be an Ogre offlane? Okay, great. I love it. Love it. Because Ogre's, I think, a B tier offlane as well. I think it has its place. You get super tanky. Obviously, once you get Midas, it's just like a completely different ball game because that guy just scales like nobody's business. With the multicast and the Midas just working, very well together. Now, how to deal with that? Lifestealer. Perfect, right? Shadow Shaman jumps on you, tries to shackle you or hex you. You can kind of mini BKB yourself out of that. You can deal with the amount of the strength heroes that Rajora Wings have in the Ogre and the Earth Spirits. You have a vehicle in the sense that you have someone to run to in the case that you do get jumped in the Centaur. Obviously, hopping into him, Centaur, blinking in, you know what I mean? Like, you have ways around that. So I think that that's an interesting synergy that they have going for them. Now, what I'm not seeing, of course, is what they want to do in terms of the mid lane. So the Tinker ban here, I don't know if I would have gone Tinker as Exquisite. Because, like the Ogre, Earth Spirit, kind of tankier. Jugs, you can kind of spin away from that. So I wouldn't really fear the Tinker, but that's just me. But what does sound scary? Like Exquisite, I could see them using maybe like a Quap.
10 seconds remaining.
Just some sort of another, like you have a magic damage dealer
5 seconds
that kind of goes with the Lion. You kind of blow people up with Finger. And of course another vehicle for the Lifestealer, just a little bit more play action or playmaking ability. But as I say that, Exquisite, they end up banning it themselves. Excellent. Maybe this is like an Alliance thing where he was trying to pick it, but he ended up banning it, but in the reverse order in that Alliance. They tried to ban it, and they instead picked it. But we'll see. I wonder where that Alliance team is going to end up playing. To be honest, I don't know since they left Alliance. But all the best to them moving forward. Now, you need something that's a little bit well-rounded. I'm not seeing a push.
Rajora Wings have push with the Shaman, but you always want something a little bit better. They have a lot of melee. So again, Rajora Wings, I feel like they should have something that kind of synergizes well. Okay, Puck, good. Okay, so Puck and Quap, I was kind of on the right trail in the sense that you got something that's mobile, heavy magic damage dealing. You got some right-click action if you need it, and then of course another vehicle for life stealer. So this guy's got he's got Uber, he's got a grab, he's got comfort, he's got whatever you need. So a lot of options here. So Exquisite, their draft is kind of rounded out pretty nicely. They have a nice mix of everything in terms of the stuns with the Lion, the control with the Dark Willow, and of course the Centaur is also there. To help disengage when all of this goes haywire. But that said, Rajora Wings are probably the more veteran of the two teams. Not to say take anything away from Exquisite. These guys are, I think, a brand new team that just kind of started out. This is their first FSL from what I know. And so, but from what they've drafted, it seems like they really know their synergies and they seem to be in sync with one another in terms of what they want, at least as a team going in. And of course, I would say that the draft is almost like a 60-40 in the sense of giving yourself a huge leg up if you can draft well. I think it's very comfortable here. Like, I don't see anything from Rajora where I'll be like, oh, they got to pick this, and then they'll just, control the game and they'll just win out. They don't really have a whole lot of holes in their draft, so to speak. I think that Exquisite may be in the pushing lineup, but at the end of the day, if you have the Life Stealer to do that, you can kind of control that. Now, speaking of push, Rajora Wings, they got the DK. Very tanky, can deal with your puck. And it also can help push towers. So it's really going to come down to the early mid-game. If they have the great laning phase, if that Shadow Shaman hits 6 before 10 minutes, you're going to have Serpent Wards all over your towers, and they're just going to push everything down, especially with that DK to kind of just back it up, tank things up. Have whatever color of dragon you want for that guy, because he's going to be super, super tanky and super annoying to deal with. And it's going to come back to the Earth Spirit, right? Like, because the 4 is like one of the most important positions in my opinion. It's just a matter of controlling these sort of team fights, right? Buying times, kicking guys out, making sure that you have the right silences on the right guys. If you can get the right silences on the Lion Puck, I mean, you can pretty much just insta-win the game, right? Insta-win the team fight, and that's kind of ideally what you want. And mind you, Earth Spirit, aside from the fact that the sword is blocking his face, he does look amazing with this, like, this whole... the hats that he's got going on. Very, very, very interesting, I would say. A lot of immortals, and let's see. The DK, on the other hand, is kind of like a poor man's DK. I think that she needs to pay and needs to spend a little bit more money, right? Because it's about, winning and looking good while you're doing it. Dragon Knight right here. I mean, yeah, the shield is cool, but come on, man. Your costume looks like it's straight out of, cold storage, okay? Yeah, I said it. Puck, on the other hand, literally no items. Puck, that is the default from what I know, as well as Dark Willow. So, mind you, this is the female FSL, right? So everybody's female in this. We do check. We do have cameras that are constantly watching them as they're about to play. So we do know that there is no shadiness going on or foul play, so to speak. So the teams are loading up. They're getting into the play. Let us go into the Radiant side. Tactical pause to begin. But the DK, Exquisite Rai, Ming on the Dark Willow, Daff on the War Runner, EM on the Puck, and Saging Nakodako. I hope that's nothing inappropriate, but that is the Lion. And then if we're going to go to the other end, we're going to go Synergy Lei on Ogre Magi, Kang on the Earth Spirit, Pain on the DK, EY on the Jugs, Pamu on the Shadow Shaman. So it looks like there's a little bit of an issue in terms of just loading things up. Now, if I'm going to give this, like, what team I like a little bit better, I just feel like Rajora Wings, their strategy is much easier to pull off, right? It's just get to quick, have a decent laning phase, just start pushing towers. Just 5-man group, that's all you need to do, and just win, right? Whereas Exquisite need to, they're, well, more well-rounded, and there are definitely ways to get around that, but at the end of the day, if you're going up against a push lineup, you have to react to that. You have to make sure that you're, on top of that, and you have to understand what the sort of flow the enemy team is going to want to put you in, so to speak. So the CK here, I don't know what he's doing. Oh, he's looking to build up some retaliate. Okay. No, this is So this is smart, right? This is what the new meta, so to speak, is that you skill retaliate, you go under the tower, and you build up stacks before the game even starts. Now he took a lot of damage. He does have a salve, so he can just keep himself up. He does have 5 already, and that should give him a little bit of a head start in terms of this laning phase. Just doing a lot of damage early, a lot more quicker than expected, so to speak. That said, this CK is going to run on back.
30 seconds to battle.
He's going to go, okay, he's not even going to use a salve. Okay, he's just going to look to go to the fountain. I mean, you have 30 seconds or so. You just got to make sure that your team is kind of locking in those runes. This would be incredibly vulnerable if Jugs and Shaman were to kind of come out of this. I don't think that they're going to completely engage. Shaman already has his Aether Blast. Aether Shock. I can speak. Aether Shock skilled up already. The Bramble Maze is also in position. The Jugs is there. He's going to probably look to... No. The spin is now being used. The Dark Willow got it, but he gave up first blood to Jugs. That's not a good trade. Not a good trade, my friend. Okay, you think that you pick up the rune early, you think you can give your team, but it is never worth giving up first blood for, okay? So you have to understand the limits of your hero as well as the positioning of where the rune is and what can kill you. Obviously, the Jug spin on top of you, if you're just going to stand there, is going to kill you. And this is a huge disadvantage now, especially with that Jugs getting first blood. I mean, he's got Quelling Blade, look at the shield already. He's in fighting shape already. And so even against your 5 retaliate stacks, it's not that big of a deal. But the Jugs here is in a pretty decent spot. Let's look at last hits. DK and Jugs is up. The Bramble Maze is being used, just a little bit of zoning. But the CK is getting a little low. He does need to be careful. He does have to retaliate, but the Dark Willow doesn't. He needs to start right-clicking. The Shaman is actually backed up, so it's kind of looking to stack. It looks like Jugs actually called for help because the Shaman went back without actually pulling. And they're looking to go for the retaliate. I got the spin off. Oh, he got completely baited and thought, oh, with the retaliate, I could just kill him. No, my friend. You have to you have to respect the amount of damage that the Shaman can do. And the fact that, the Aether, oh my gosh, gets him out of position. And that's an easy third kill. And the other one was finally, oh yeah, for the first one. I'm sorry. From the Jugs. I can count. It's been a long day. But easy first 3 kills, all the way, 2 of them from the Jugs and then 1 with the Shaman. But this is pretty much where the action is going to be, I feel. Like, yeah, the Lifestealer and the Ogre, they're going to trade, but, I mean, as long as the Ogre doesn't do anything completely stupid and get caught out by, you know, his bad positioning or anything, I mean, he should be okay. I don't think that the Lifestealer can really be threatened, especially with his rage and everything. But the stun here, the roll-in is off the mark, though. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, and he didn't even burn up rage. No mana was used. And so Lifestealer here looking to just kind of heal himself back up. So, okay, that's never good. And mind you, as an Earth Spirit player, I've done that first, too. My first rollout, I've missed, and people have called me a noob and reported me just for that, for the first one. But it's just a matter of keeping your head in the game and just understanding that, hey, you made a mistake, but you're still good. You can still win this game. So the Centaur here taking a little bit more damage. There's a DD bottom, but I don't feel like Puck doesn't have a bottle. No, it does not. The DK doesn't as well. He's going straight Bracer. But a little bit of action here. Just Ogre just kind of bullying, so to speak. Does so much regen. 14 HP regen. And I mean, yeah, he's got a Tango eating, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's a lot of regen. This Lifestealer needs to get a little bit fatter. A couple more levels will help. A little bit of action here. Spin. Gets him out the shackle. Saves the Juggernaut. He's going to run away. The Dark Willow snipes him and will back off. So 1 for 1. You ended up getting the Jugs, and that's 506 gold for this Dark Willow, who pretty much is not going to know what to spend that money on. She buys a wand. I disagree. I probably think that a stick and a boot and boots would probably have been better, just because you need the speed, right? Especially as a support. You want to be moving. The Bramble Maze is there. The Shaman kind of getting the instructions on how to deal with this. The spin is nearby. This Dark Willow's in a bad spot to spin, realizing that she's going the wrong way, and that's going to be an easy kill for the Jugs. The Centaur just trying to get farm as much as he can, knowing that she's a little bit behind with 8 and 3. This Ogre over here is going to go phase boots first. Midas on the Lifestealer already has boots. So it's just going to be how they deal with this. The roll in, completely off the mark. What are you doing? All right, Kang, you got to make, I mean, I put you under the spotlight, so to speak. I mean, I put a little bit of pressure in the sense that you got to make plays, but you can't be like missing rolls like that, right? I mean, if you get the stun off with the Ogre and then into the roll, like you have to just kind of synchronize yourself with that. And a little bit of a misplay there. Earth Spirit at 4 minutes, no boots. This is a not a good game so far. You want speed. You got to start making your presence known in all the lanes. That's the big power of the Earth Spirit. Get to level 3. That said, it's going to be 5-minute rune. I think that the Earth Spirit is in danger. He's kind of moving through. The Bramble Mages has been placed down. The roll in gets the stun off. And then, the stun, but the Dark Willow's still going to pick it up. The kick? Did he go completely backwards? I think he completely kicked it the wrong way. That's like an own goal. Anyways, looks like on the other end, the Shackle is going to lock in the Centaur, the spin. The Centaur's got nowhere to go, even with the spin. The Centaur, and that is the problem with this hero, especially this early, right? You're kind of struggling. It's like one of those things where it's not as strong as it once was. I think Turd's TI, which is what, 7.22D? It was a lot stronger, and after TI, they kind of, a couple nerfs here and there, and so it's kind of like an average offlaner. It's not as strong as it once was, so you have to play a little bit more careful. But the Ogre, whoa, completely navigates the Bramble Maze. Pretty easy going for him. She is okay. Now, the Puck here is level 6 with the DK. The DK is using Dragon Form. Does have 2 bracers, though. Soul Ring on the way. But the Bottle, realizing that she chose the wrong way. Oh, no. Gonna phase away. Okay, she should be fine. She orbs out. But the regen was actually, she chose the wrong one. This is one where you yell at your supports for not warding the right one. Or warding the rune, because then now you had to guess, and then that completely costed you a lot of time. Look at that. She went from the top rune to the bottom rune, and she got nothing out of it, and she's still very, very low. And through this time, DK's just been farming. Not a good place to be. So, last hits, 40-6. That's pretty good game from the Lifestealer here. The roll in catches him out. The stun in, they did kind of didn't stack it properly, but he's just gonna rage on out. He should be fine. Oh, the Shackle in here. They don't have any more stuns, but they're just trying to body block. The Bramble Maze is here. Oh, and catches them both, and he's so lucky. The Curse Crown as well, and he's gonna form out. They're gonna look to kind of turn this. Nope, Dark Willow doesn't want to overcommit on this one. But she had a little bit more damage. She could have bursted that, I think. But she needs to right-click and then kind of stutter step forward. So with each right-click, she's a little bit closer to the enemy, so she's not losing positioning as they just run away. But this Lifestealer is very, very low. This is super dangerous. Oh, but he's healing up now. He's raging up now, realizing that he can't actually get destroyed or magic or stunned, excuse me. Curse Crown is on the back of that. No stun there. The Puck is finally here. Does have boots, but nothing really else. I think the Observer Ward did see that. Now, Puck is completely out of lane. And the DK now, this is the push. This is the scary part of the DK, right? Yeah, he does fall off, but his laning can be pretty powerful. You can definitely get some T1s easy. But the spin here, oh, the stun doesn't do it against somebody who's spinning like that. The Jug Spin is going to kill him. The Shackle, nope. Oh, no Shackle there. Okay. So that's a kill from the Centaur. The Centaur is going to have to come back in some other way. 21-5. You're doing the worst of all the cores. You're kind of struggling right now. So Earth Spike here. Does have Phase Boot. Has a Javelin. Okay. So the Jugs is getting some decent amount of farm. He's looking to go Maelstrom first. But the DK, look at this. 8-6. This is what the Puck was doing. He was running back and forth, trying to make his presence known, or her presence known, excuse me. But she didn't really get any of the kills. And Dream Coil now being used, but this is the DK. He's too tanky. How are you going to deal with this? Oh, the Bramble Maze catches him out once here. Does have the Earth Spike. Curse Crown as well. They're going to try to lock him up. They're stacking the stuns pretty well, and another Hex, but he's just so tanky. Like, he's going to stick through this, and he's going to look to turn around. He kills the Puck, and here comes the Shaman. Oh my gosh, he turns that away. No, and the DK just way too tanky. Nice rotation by the Shaman and the DK, just knowing the limits of that hero and understanding when you can turn that around. Got the puck in the meantime, and the DK is just going to back up and is looking to just shrine up and go back at it. Very nicely played there by the DK. But level 4, Earth Spirit, come on, buddy. You got bracers on the way. You're only level 4. You need to get level 6 because Magnetize just kind of makes your kit just just adds so much, right? Oh my gosh, the Centaur. So low, no regen, has nowhere to go, completely zoned out. This is between the T1 and the T2. So he's got, like, there's no way to deal with this. You need friends. You can't Centaur, you can't Stampede into this. And this is looking to be a free T1 top. It's going to come back to how they deal with this. Oh, the Hex is there. Okay, completely zoned him out. He's going to take as many runes. The Omni Slash is now being used. He's got nowhere to go. No creeps to just bounce that on, and that's a free, easy kill for A. Is that how you pronounce it? I think so. But easy kill there. Got the Javelin. I mean, you got the Phase Boots. Just the amount of damage that the Jugs can do at 10 minutes is quite a lot. But Earth Spirit here. Level 6 Ogre. Got Midas queued up. I think that if she can somehow get... oh, stun here. Catches him out. The roll in. Catches him out, but the Rage. This is the problem. Now, if he turns that around, you do not want to fight into this. You got to back off. Okay. Curse Crown off the mark. No big deal. I mean, he does have silence, but you don't have the mana to really cycle through all of them. Oh, another stun to roll in. One more time. They're going to go for this. The Rage is now on a cooldown. He's got silence. He's got nowhere to go. And now this is the right time. Oh, but the Rage just comes up. The Bramble Maze just completely stopping them. The Thunder, the Bramble Maze, the Cursed Crown. They're looking to turn this around. The Lifestealer. Did he go too deep? He went too deep. The Ogre Magi gets the stun off of the Dream Coil. The puck is now here. Look at the turn this to 3v1. The Serpent Wards have also been dropped. The Dark Willow gets shackled up with the puck with the silence. The roll in catches him out, but the Earth Spirit just trying to run away gets a little low. They're looking to at least take the Shaman in the meantime. The puck doesn't have orb, doesn't have any mana. The line is kind of on the back end of this is just as a salve, no mana. And that looked to be like what? A 2v1, a 2-for-1? The Lifestealer, I think that he should have played a little bit safe. He got a little bit low. This is the problem with the Ogre, is that he's kind of deceiving in the sense that that stun and the amount of right-click damage and the DOT just does a lot of work. It can kind of just burst you down, so you got to be super careful in that sense. Oh, so another stun here, especially with the multicast. But how much more can he do? I think he's got Midas on the way. It looks like it's on the chip. Oh, the Hex is here. An Earth Spike. The Ether Bolt. The Rage on the Shaman. Is he going to survive through this? He's going to get stunned one more time. And the Shackle. Oh, but the Finger kills the Shaman. The Lion just making good work. Gets the first kill with his finger, sorry. And then the DK is now here, and they're looking to get the Lifestealer with the Blast. This is the power of the off-lane Ogre. The multicast stuns, just does so much damage if you can get lucky. And look at that. RNG, right? Like, I mean, if you could just RNG your way to victory, what else do you need? You don't need the Ignite or the Slow or anything. If you could just get multicast of 3 times and just burst them and killing them. So it looks like they're going to take the T1 bottom. This is a pretty big lead in the sense of 13-4, 9K lead. And it looks like they're going to continue pushing through. They have all of the T1s now. And it looks like they're kind of backing off. Now, I like the playstyle of how they were doing this. The DK, though, has just got his blank. I don't know if they really needed that. Okay. If it's going to be the initiator, then you have the counter initiator as the Earth Spirit. I get that. But the thing is that it's 13 minutes, right? You're completely snowballing. You do not want to leave the lane. You do not want to go back to the jungle and do not make this a 45-minute game. You want to take advantage of the advantage that you have and then just consistently push. You want to keep that card alive and then just take advantage of this huge lead you have. Like, you have the items. You can blink onto that Centaur at any point. You have no teammates to help you, but still. This Centaur is in a world of hurt. Just has phase boots, nowhere near. Oh, and he gets blinked in on the stun, the dragon tail, and the dragon form, and he's going to kill them. Two TPs are coming in, but at what cost? The Earth Spike catches out the DK. The puck is also coming on the Shrine. The Bramble Maze is there. The DK manages to navigate through the Bramble Maze, but the Dream Coil catches out 2. The Orb catches him out. The Curse Crown and the Ogre got nowhere to go. They get the Dark Willow. And here come the teammates. The Earth Spirit. Oh, he gets Bramble Maze. He gets stuck in. The Shaman is also there. He's got the Hex off. He's got the Shackle. The Life Stealer is not going anywhere. The DK is still continuing to do work. The only one that's not joining the party is the Jugs, who's continuing to push top. And here comes Magnetize. This is the first big one, and that's going to be a kill for them. That's 3, and I believe they killed the Ogre. Oh, no. Oh, I think that was a 3 for nothing. Oh, they misses the silence. Earth Spirit's going to try for a roll in, but oh, he gets the slow roll. Serpent Wards have been used. They're looking to take the T2. I would have waited for high ground for the Serpent Wards, but that's just me. Especially when you knew the Life Stealer was still down. You probably knew he wasn't going to buy back, but nonetheless, you're still getting value out of the Serpent Ward, so I can't complain. I'm just nitpicking at this point. I'm basically being like an Asian dad in the sense that I'm just, micromanaging you. But even though you're doing the right thing. That said, Puck here has got Blink, Yule's queued up, and she's looking to make a play. Oh, I thought they were going to look to do a smoke because they were all looking to hold hands. Oh, here we go. Smoke. Okay, so I don't think they saw that. The Life Stealer is around. They probably want to take advantage of this. The Life Stealers probably should get in, but okay, it gets the Hex off on the Jugs. They're kind of moving into position. The Earth Spike is there, but do they have the stun? Oh no, mistimes the stun. The spin gets off, and he's going to look to turn this around. The DK is there. The Stampede is now being used, and that was a complete mess up. That was a disaster. Oh my gosh. They needed to stack the stuns, make sure he doesn't get the spin off. They needed to lock him into place. This is the problem with the Jug. Oh, and instead they get the Blink off and the Shackle and the Lion. Completely out of position. The Earth Spirit just rolling through, killing the creeps. And the Bloodlust is now being used. The Bramble Maze to little to no use at this point because you're not going to really fight or run away into it. Glyph is now being used. He's ethereal form for the Dark Willow. He should be fine. But they're going to just kind of siege on that T3. The Centaur stomp is off the mark. That was a little unfortunate. And another Bramble Maze. The Puck is here. He's been stunned up. He gets silenced, he's got nowhere to go, and that's the most painful thing. And the Omni Splash is being used, and it's hitting pretty much the Life Stealer, and he's going to run back, and he should be fine. The Bramble Maze does hit him, but at what cost? Because it looks like they're going to get the top racks. With the Siege Creep there, that's going to make quick work. The Shadow Shaman is actually going to TP to the mid, push out that middle lane, get the creeps all the way through with Centaur down for 15 seconds, as well as the Puck. This is not looking good for the Radiant. Another Bramble Maze. Can they get through? Nope. The spin. Nice timing by the EY, knowing the limits of that hero. And just completely backing off. They should be fine. The DK, on the other hand, has BKB queued up. And it looks like they're going to go push mid-ground. The mid-T2, that is. And then look to go high ground. I don't think there's really anything you can do, at least in the bottom with the T2. The Shadow Shaman does have his wards up. So it's going to be a matter of how they defend against this. They need to use this high ground to their advantage in some way. The Puck can't just be silenced, because if it's silenced, it's pretty much GG. They have to be super careful of that Earth Spirit. The wards are being used. The Dragon Tail gets in the blink from the DK. He's just right-clicking him in through. That's going to be an easy kill for them. Puck buys back. The Life Stealer has to rage and needs to run on back. The Serpent Wards are still focusing that tower with the Jugs, and the Totem is also being used. And so it looks like they're just going to kind of slow siege this, knowing that a lot of the big ults, so to speak, are being used. There's not much that they can get on. The DK blinks forward. He gets raged up. He's got nothing else. The Curse Crown is also being used on him, and he gets the Stampede. The Earth Spirit is into a bad spot. The Terrorize as well, but they were stunned in with the Dream Coil. The Shackle on the other hand, and here it comes. The Shackle on the wrong one, I think, in terms of the Centaur. And through that all, the Serpent Wards have been hitting the racks. They lost the Earth Spirit, who went a little bit too far deep. The Curse Crown will slow down the DK at least, but the spin will put him in position. And that DK is just so tanky, and they look to at least get the DK. That would be a death from them. But can they get anything else? He doesn't have Orb. He's going to have Blink up. But which way is Puck going? he went the wrong way. Okay, and the Ogre went left, and he's going to look to just TP on out. He should be fine. Sorry, and there was a buyback from Puck. So, I mean, you lost the DK for that, and you took Rax. Oh, you didn't take the melee Rax. You need to focus on that one. But, I mean, that's like not a bad fight, right? They didn't really lose too much. They only lost the DK. The only thing that I really could see is that they should have focused for the melee instead of the range, because now the melee is just going to heal up slowly but surely. They just do need to be a little bit more careful. I think the Serpent Wards were actually focusing the wrong ones. They should have just focused that melee one down, make sure they got the kill. So Jugs here, got Manta. Maelstrom on the way. He's pretty much on the way.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack.
Puck is looking very poor. This is kind of disheartening, I would say. I mean, it's 20 minutes. He's only got Blink. I mean, he doesn't really have the items to kind of fight. And through that all, the Shadow Shaman gets Dream Coiled. And what can Shadow Shaman do? Because he's got his big brother coming with a DK here. It does have Blink, but it's on cooldown. The Puck is moving on the other end, and he's going to TP away. Earth Spirit on the other hand.
I'll take that as tribute.
Almost as a Vessel. Not a bad item, especially that's one way of dealing with the Centaur, just the amount of HP he has. Bloodlust being passed around like hotcakes. The spin off the mark, or the roll in, the Bramble Maze gets through that all. They get the stun on the Centaur. There's fights all throughout. The Cursed Crown is getting catch out. The Earth Spirit and the Jugs, who's just trying to walk through. The DK blinks forward with Dragon forward with Omni Slash, just doing so much work, destroying the supports, and the Puck is just going to have to run for his life. Orbs forward, just I don't know how much damage. Oh, he blinks away. Cheeky play, but at what cost? The Lifestealers can't even kill the Shaman, and he gets blinked on. And that's going to be a dead Lifestealer. The Bloodlust just doing so much work. Look at the Centaur, just gets blown up. 4 dead to nothing, 26-6. The Puck was the only one who just barely made it. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, he gets the silence. Okay, okay. That's a little dangerous. Oh, the DK. He's too fat. He's in the trees. He thought he was Monkey King. And his Ogre buddy uses the Quelling Blade to help chop that tree down. So it looks like they're going to at least take mid-racks, even with the Glyph. They should be able to take that down. The bottom lane is kind of a little bit further away. The Terror Rays will just buy time, but the Dream Coil is also being used. Silence is up. Oh, no. He just gets out of that. The Cursed Crown. No stun, just on his own. The Lifestealer's alive. The spin is being used. The Lion's got nowhere to go, and with a stun and the spin, that should be enough damage. The Shackle on the end gets to the Lifestealer, just completely controlling him, waiting for his buddy to come out. The roll-in catches out the Lifestealer. Oh my gosh, and they get him out. Nice roll-in by the Earth Spirit. He gets silenced now. He does get a buyback from both the Lion and the Lifestealer. They're coming back. Earth Spike is here, and they're going to at least get the Ogre. The Earth Spirit is here. The Magnetize being spread around all the way, and he shoots it one more time. So a little bit of AoE damage, but not a whole lot to just get any kills. But through that all, Jugs and the Serpent Wards just killing some ranks. This is Mega. Get the spin, and he just TPs on out. Well played. Just play yourself safe. Oh, he's got to just focus the racks. Oh, it doesn't really matter. It's the melee. Okay. So the Centaur is just going to just farm those things up. The wards, that is. Just try to get as much farm as he can. Now, they are completely behind. This is the problem, right? 15 seconds, the Earth Spirit and the Ogre are both going to be up. DK is going to have BKB up soon. The AC is queued up for the DK. It's going to be very difficult to defend this one last remaining Rax, especially with the Lifestealer who has, I hate to say it, I mean, he went armlets. He gave up on Midas because he wasn't having a good game, but now he has really no way of scaling. Like, he went all in on this armlet, and I'm not a big fan of that, especially with, you know, look at all the DOTs that you're up against, right? Like the Earth Spirit, the Magnetize, the Ignite. All of these things can just blow you up if you're not careful. And in my opinion, Armlet isn't as good as it once was. So I feel like this is a bit of an item mistake. I understand that a lot of people are like, oh, I need some items to fight. But to get back into this game, you needed Midas. You needed to just kind of wait it out and just hope that your team could buy you time so that the Midas timing and the money can kick in to actually get you real items. Because right now, all you have is Armlet. It's hard to fight into this, which, like, let's look at this. The Jugs. He's got Manta. He's got Mjolnir. I mean, how do you fight into this? This is just the easy racks. Even with the spins, like that's going to be megas, and here comes the horn. Oh, I love the horn. It's great when it's on your team, but when it's terrible, it's like the most horrifying thing when it's against you. You're like, oh god, what do we do? Okay, but the BKB, the DK, just jumps on in with a Dragon Tail, gets totally locked in. The Omni Slash making quick work of the Centaur. The silence is off the mark, but it really doesn't matter with the puck just running, Turntail and running. Oh, with the silence, and he gets kicked back. The Earth Spirit style points, and they're looking to just call GG. Well played, Rajoro Wings, proving that they are the superior team in the Philippines. They are just complete domination of this game from the beginning to end. I mean, they call GG, but I don't know if they actually call GG. Okay, now they call the real GG. It was like a pump fake GG. Bit of disrespect BMing going in as they're attacking the fountain. So they're calling GG, but they're not actually leaving. So basically somebody's hitting cancel, but it doesn't really matter when your Ancient is literally going down, and that will be the real GG. 32 minutes. Fourth lead. Just a very quick surgical victory by Rajoro Wings. I think that we just saw why this team is so powerful. They're very in sync with one another. Their strategy, I mean, they're just all over the place. They had great laning. They had a great draft. Again, it came back to this really easy push lineup of DK, Shadow Shaman, right? Every single 6 minutes, or sorry, every time the ult was up, pretty much they would just constantly push. And the DK just understanding the limits of that hero, just completely creating a lot of space for that Jugs to get fat, who just completely dominated her lane as well, as the Centaur had a terrible lane. So I think Exquisite need to go back into the drawing board, understand what they did wrong, kind of look at that replay, and see exactly how they could have done things a little bit better. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that there's like a mechanical issue or anything like that. There are some laning issues that they probably could have worked out a little bit better in terms of like the support synergy and how they're going to take that up. And just kind of understanding that you're losing, yes, but how do you get back into the game, right? Is it a smoke gank? Is it because we're lacking vision? Or, you know, there are 1,000 things that you can look at in Dota, and that's why this game is amazing. But they're just going to have to go to the drawing board, understand where they are, and to see how they can get better in this game. That said, the last game is going to be against Screaming Sirens, Philippines, and GO. I think that their team logo is actually OG reversed, but they're also from the Philippines as well, and we're going to have that game coming at you shortly. We're going to be back in about 5-10 minutes. We'll be back with you soon. Hello and welcome back to the FSL Dota 2 circuit. We have our final game for today. This is going to be from Group A. Mind you, we have 15 teams in each of the groups. This is the last game that we're going to be streaming today. And it's up against the Screaming Sirens and versus Go. Obviously, they've stolen the OG logo. Obviously, they are using Thompson as a sort of good luck charm or voodoo doll. I'm not sure which one of the two it is. But both of these teams are from the Philippines. And again, we have a little inter-country rivalry. I feel like I'm missing out by not being in the Philippines because a whole bunch of teams are playing, and they're playing, almost like all the time. Like, these are professional teams, right? And just being able to stick together and to kind of just have these things, it's like I don't have that in Singapore, so I'm a little disappointed by that. That said, we're in the final phase of the draft. We're going to see a nice little lineup here of Ogre, Shaman, Tidehunter, and Chaos Knight. I'm a big fan of the Chaos Knight. I actually been playing around with it as a 4. I think it's super good, and I think it's probably going to be more of a core in this lineup, but I feel like it's super powerful, it's super strong, and it catches people off guard. The Chaos Strike, just the amount of heal it has, and of course the Reality Rift and the stun, you're just not really getting away from him. But that said, they're going up against the Centaur, Jugs, Tiny, Ancient, Apparition lineup. The AA does well against all of the sustain that the Screaming Sirens want to do, but they don't really have, Tiny, Lockdown, a little bit, Avalanche Toss, Centaur Stomp, but to what cost, Because I feel like the AoE or the AoE required to deal with the Chaos Knight is something that you need to kind of think about. It's definitely an early to mid game. You do not want to, if you go late game against the CK, you pretty much win. So these are all the kinds of things you kind of need to worry about. We're seeing the bans now, Invoker, Tinker, so we're basically showing cards in the Saints that this is going to be the mid lane, right? Oh, and a Huskar. You're not an SEA if you're not seeing Huskar. And this is one of those lineups that's good. But if we're looking at right-click action, the Tiny kind of does it. Jugs obviously does it. Centaur can do it. And it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of, I don't know if I would have picked that into Huskar, because AA just, pick the Huskar into the AA, because the AA, in my opinion, is like a hard counter to that guy. That said, I think that we have the lineups. Wind Ranger is going to be the final pick. It's looking to be probably a mid-ranger mid. Juggernaut, obviously 1. Centaur off lane, Tiny 4, Ancient Apparition 5. They have the right amount of stuns, the right amount of control. Go, that is. Screaming Sirens, on the other hand, Chaos Knights, a lot of team fight. The Tidehunter, Shaman, the Chaos Knight, all these guys can kind of lock down people and get them all killed, and you're hoping that the Huskar can just tear you down. Now, if I had to give an edge, I don't feel like the Huskar has the right amount of support. You want like a Dazzle, Oracle, some type to kind of just keep it alive, because if it's just going to stand and just right-click you, and then you're going to think that like all the magic damage would blow you up, but if you're looking at the Go lineup, there's not a lot of magic damage. They're pretty much just right-clickers here. So I'm just giving the edge to Go going in. I know that they're probably one of the newer teams, at least at this FSL, this tournament here. Mind you, we're having nothing but best of ones throughout the the rest of this week. We have more tomorrow. We have more coming at you for October every single day, Saturday, Sunday, at least in the weekends. And then we're going to go into the playoffs on the 26th and the 27th. So of the 15 teams in the group, you just need to be top 4. You just don't need to be faster than the bear, so to speak. You just need to be faster than the other people in the group, so to speak. That said, we're getting into the game now. So let's look at the Screaming Sirens. We're going to see Undead on the Chaos Knight, Senpai on the Huskar, Nemo, the Fish on Shadow Shaman, Piper on the Ogre, K on the Tidehunter. And if we're looking at the other side, now if we're looking at this, it looks like they're really trying hard in terms of this whole OG-GO thing, and maybe, as their inner spirit bearer is actually OG, and Jerax, Seb, No-Tail, and Anna are actually playing. I'm not sure. But they forgot Thompson. So Joyson, here, doesn't have the right name or gamer tag. Doesn't have Thompson, right? You need that going in. So
Go is one of those teams that's freshly created. This is actually their first tournament.
30
From what
seconds
I
to
know,
battle.
Ella, the captain of the team, just had about like a week to kind of just put this team together. And so she was kind of running around just making sure that she found the right people. I believe that she said that she has, and I quote, she says, "We're going to play for FSL. We play together, slay together, because we want to play Dota." So those are actually her words, not mine. But yeah, she's really into this game, obviously, and so we wish her the best of luck.
The battle begins.
And the game is about to start now. And so we're seeing 2 for each side. It's a nice even split. Jugs AA versus the Tide Ogre. This can be rough, and it really comes down to the AA doing the right amount of zoning. How much damage can you do? Because these are extremely tanky ones. You need to focus fire, make sure that you're hitting the same one. So Jugs and AA need to be hitting like the Tide together, the Ogre together. But they cannot be hitting one of each. They just need to make sure that they're on the right page as we get into this game. So it's looking like the Tide doesn't have shield. Ogre, on the other hand, is just kind of doing the warding. So it looks like the Tide is actually going to play the 3, which is, I think, fine. He does have Anchor Smash. One thing to note is that Gush is just so good now. And so it's going to be interesting to see when he levels it. Oh, the spin is coming out. He's going to get Tide very, very low. He's going to kind of just walk him through. He doesn't have it. He does 26 life is what he dropped down to. He does have the Tango. So the Anchor Smash doing a little bit of work, keeping him alive, but doesn't have a salve, so he has to be super careful. The Ogre is just kind of hitting people away. A little bit of zoning action. The Jugs is getting a little bit of free farm. Okay, so a little bit there. Now, the Wind Ranger here, 6 and 5. 5 denies. And this is the second, what is this? The second wave, I think? It's very close. And so it's almost like a perfect lane so far, right? 7 and 5, and you're kind of just bullying the Huskar, who's actually not that great until, again, level 2, when you have, you know, both of the Burning Spear and the Berserker Blood. But Wind Ranger here, just kind of getting a huge advantage, right? This is the power that denies. You're level 3, Huskar level 2, and you're hiding in a corner, hiding in, behind the tower, so to speak, because you are a little bit behind. Now, how does Screaming Sirens deal with this? Do they look to make some rotations? What can they do to keep themselves alive? Because this Topson, Joyson, is just kind of just bullying, getting all of the denies. Oop, missed the deny there. But she's getting 10 and 7. Like, the denies are so important because you're getting all of that XP. I believe it's 30%. And so you're getting a huge advantage in terms of not only your farm, in terms of gold, but also XP, which is obviously all you need in terms of the laning phase. So, Huskar level 3. Wind Run here, just kind of doing a little bit of zoning. Joyson just kind of owning that top. I think the creep wave is in the perfect spot for her to get some shots off. It's a little bit difficult for Huskar to kind of get those the shots in, and plus you don't want to. Oh, misses the last hit there. But you can't get them all. The Wind Ranger, okay. The range creep is always what you want. Now, Tiny is here. He does have Invis. The Huskar does not see this, so it looks like they're going to make a play. He does have Toss and the Avalanche. He gets a Toss. He tosses the Wind Ranger back in the spot, and then with the Wind Run and the Shackle, nicely played right there. Nice toss there. Perfectly in sync. These guys, with understanding where Tiny is, not having the vision, and not reacting at all whatsoever to the Tiny rotation there. So a nice toss into Shackle combo, and that's easy first blood for Wind Ranger. If we're looking at the top lane, the Ogre here just kind of got Bloodlust. Not a whole lot of mana. He doesn't have... This is a little worrying. When the Ogre, obviously, he has a ton of regen, but coming in with nothing, this is just super greedy, right? You don't have boots, so you're super slow. Tide Hunter does, on the other hand, but hang on. Looks like Tiny is looking to do another rotation. He does have Bottle. He's going to just kind of run into this. Oh, the Huskar. And then he gets the Avalanche and the Toss combo one more time. And he's looking for, although the Shackle's off the mark this time. And here comes the Shaman. He gets the Aether Shock. So he's doing a little bit of zoning. If he got that Shackle, that could have been a different story. But the Burning Flame just doing a little bit in terms of zoning, or the Inner Fire, excuse me. But a little bit of action.
Oh man, I feel like we should leave these two guys alone. Like the Centaur and this Chaos Knight. Like these are like two lovers, right? I don't know. They're both on horses. Should we just leave them alone? I think. They just but the haste coming in. The Tiny. He's just gonna run on through. You guys get the avalanche up and the stun, but they did it at the same time. The toss, is that enough damage? I don't really know. The Chaos Knight is gonna heal with the Chaos Strike. Okay, that was actually very close considering they both stunned each other at the same time. I mean, the Centaur stomp into the toss avalanche. All of that was a kind of not stacked well, but it doesn't really matter. 5-minute runes are now. The Tiny Elegance here, playing very, very well. Got boots, making her presence known throughout all the lanes. Got the bottle, and she's going to be back to full. And that's the securing both of the runes bottom. And through that all, the AA gets 1 rune, so that's 3-1. And now if we're looking at this, see, this is the power of the last hits and the denies. If I'm looking at 19 denies, right, versus the 9-3 Huskar, you're level 4 to a level 6 Wind Ranger. The Wind Run is up, the Shackle off the mark, but the AA is near. Oh no, and the TPs are getting used, but it's gonna Fairy Fire and not enough. And so this is how you deal with a Huskar, right? You just right-click them, and if you've got Focus Fire, you have one of the best right-clickers in the game. So it's just an easy kill there. If he got the Shackle, it would have been a lot better in the sense that, you know, the Wind Ranger wouldn't have taken as much damage. But still, you secure the kill, so you can't really complain. I'm just nitpicking, being an Asian dad. No boots here for the Ogre Magi. Little worrying. 6 minutes. You have level 2 Ogre Magi. That is 0 presence, and Elegance, who we might as well call Jerax at this point because of all of the pressure that she's creating, has got another Invis, and she's looking to rotate bottom. Oops. And the Jugs with the Omnislash kills out the Tide, totally catching him out. A little bit more action on the bottom. The toss through, the silence and the stun. Oh, and that's going to be it. The CK is trying to get into it, but he's only level 4. He's getting far behind Miss K. Yeah, so Chaos Knight, yeah, you're strong in the early to mid game, but I mean, it looks like the Centaur is kind of dealing with you. And plus the Tiny, who's invis, smoked. He's gonna make his way mid. We gotta be quiet now, because we don't want to let him know. But it looks like Tiny, avalanche, toss, one more time. I feel like I've seen this before. Theater fire. Oh, the stun is off the mark, but the focus fire, that should be enough damage. He's trying to keep himself alive, and with the heal, the fairy fire, it doesn't really matter, and that's going to be the kill. The AA securing the kill, and this is turning into a bad, well, it went from bad to worse, I would say, in terms of this Huskar laning. And this is the problem with the Huskar, right? It's an early to mid game. You win, and you win big. But if not, it's impossible to catch up. This is a very difficult game for him, especially with the CK, who doesn't have the late game. So when your peak, so to speak, is the early to mid game, and you're not winning the early to mid game, it's not looking good for you, so to speak. Through that all, Jugs completely by himself. He's got phase boots. Doesn't really have much else. Is there anything on the chick? I feel like he's okay. A little bit more action here. The Centaur, the Stomp. He doesn't have the mana for Stampede, but he does get stunned one more time. The Reality Rift is going to pull him back. The Shackle, the Hex is there. Okay, and that should be a kill for the Centaur. Oh, man, if he had just 150 mana, he's 30 more mana. But unfortunately, Tiny not quick enough to get there. He's only level 3, so if anything, Tiny should just be in the lane, soak up as much XP as possible, and try to get in. Now, the Jug here, level 7, versus the Tide, level 5, who is actually really struggling right now. He's got Arcane Boots queued up, but, I mean, this Jug has just been completely dominating the lane. You have to glyph up here. You don't really have much to go. Oh, but it looks like they're going to turn this around. They get the stun off on the AA. The Omnislash is being used, but they're bouncing around. They're hitting them all, and it looks like they get the Shackle. The Shaman is going to just sacrifice himself and at least get the kill. Nope. Okay, so he goes down. The Jugs is going to heal up from the totem, and they're looking to get the AA. Can they get him? They do not have Gush. Oh, they do have Gush. Okay, there we go. But the Shackle's off the mark. Doesn't actually connect on anybody. But the Tiny's here, and he's got all 3. And it looks like they're going to get the Tide Hunter and the Ogre. And that is a double kill for the Jug. So worst case scenario turned even worse, if possible. Because, I mean, look at this. 1,500 gold. He's level 8, not even 10 minutes. He's going to get his Maelstrom very, very quickly. And with all those kills, he's kind of securing all the space for the runes. You just don't really have any place to go. And, I mean, the runes kind of get you back in the game. The only thing I can critique right now is the fact that Joyson, a.k.a. Topson, is not really hitting his shackles. You know, he's missed a couple. And, again, I'm just nitpicking at this point. But second in net worth, making her presence known. Yeah, she does have phase. But this Huskar, who's just level 6, has only 2 bracers here. Tide secures the rune. And through it all, Centaur's, he was a little higher, but if we're looking at net worth, I mean, look at these guys, the 2 horsemen. A bit close. It's still pretty even, but Tide, another invis. What is this? He's so lucky. Oh, he gets out, kills the sentry. Win runs for that. Oh, and he sees it's near, and the ogre was also near, and that's why the Tiny didn't go for the toss, but it looks like they're kind of backing off now. Oh, okay. He's got to be super careful about the tower, making sure he knows the vision. Obviously, if you hold down Alt, you'll see the red line here. So he knows, oh, the toss gets in, and he gets stuck in, and he gets the jump. Oh, it doesn't really matter, the focus fire. And that's going to be a dead Huskar. Leap or no leap. He's got nowhere to go. I mean, especially with the creeps being so far behind. And if we're looking at KDA, what is it? The Huskar. Where was the Huskar? Huskar. 0-4-0. That is little to no impact. Okay? You're having a rough time. I get it. This is one way to get back into the game. Stacking creeps. And Tide right here is going to take as much as he can. But on the back end of that, the top tier 1 goes down. So Huskar, how do you get back in this game? Do you switch lanes? What do you do? Because the Chaos Knight also, you want to be pushing the lanes as well. But the Jugs killing the Ogre with the Omni. And the Huskar TPing in for this. So if anything, you just swap lanes. Tide means he's probably going to have to, excuse me, to another lane. But yeah, just a nice kill there at 11-2. The only thing that they really need is the mid T1. Shaman has level 6, so I'm surprised he's not looking to use that, because, again, using that spell off cooldown is probably ideal. DD from the Wind Ranger. That should make easy work of the mid lane, or the mid tower, that is. Assuming she decides to commit for it. Tiny's in, gets the avalanche, gets the toss out, throws him back, got nowhere to go. The shackle again off the mark, but it really doesn't matter. Oh, it might matter. Oh, she gets trapped in with the serpents. She somehow sneaks out of that one. Okay, all right, but they get Tiny on the back end of that. And it looks like they're going to get free wards. The Wind Ranger kind of sneaking out. I thought she was going to get stuck, but now Tide Hunter has not used Ravage throughout this entire game. And now, yeah, it's only 12 minutes and 44 seconds, but how do you get back in this game? You need to start looking for those team fights. You need to kind of just group up, kind of get some sort of pick off. And it looks like the Wind Ranger is threatening at least the Huskar, but the Juggernaut on the back of this is level 11 at 13 minutes. Ooh, that gets the stack, so that's going to be more gold going the way of the Dire. I mean, if you're going to stack it for him, I mean, you're just basically giving the game away. The Ogre's like, that's my stack. And so he's just going to kind of go through. He's not even level 6 at this point. He's just pinging him out. That's all he can do. You can just call the cops, but he can't actually fight the guy. Tide, on the other hand, just kind of push. And on the back of that, they get the Shaman. So the Centaur is going to kill him. So more action. And just more pressure, more space being taken away from this CK, who just has Armlet now. He's got drums queued up, and he's got Manta, which is a long way to go. And now this is another one, the inner break. He's going to try to heal himself, the inner fire. The power shot, and here comes life break is going to be used, and he's going to look to turn that around, and he gets baited. So here's the thing, right? Wind Ranger, yes, you were an advantage, but if you don't have your supports, you're not as good. You need your gang, your posse, so to speak, to kind of just secure those kills for you, because he was super low, but you need just that little bit, and that's from where the supports come in. That said, The Wind Ranger's going to think about it for 15 seconds and see where she went wrong. But yeah, that was a little bit of a miscue in the sense that she should not have been diving. Ogre, congratulations. Level 6 at 14 minutes. Ogre's still back in this game. Almost has the money for boots. But not, just overall rough game from Piper. More last hits. And, of course, a little bit of a swing in terms of this Wind Ranger. Demon Edge. Javelin in Q. Not sure why there's a ping here. So, Jerax / Elegance. Making full use of that regen by farming in the jungle. But are they going to get the second bounty? Yes, because the bottle is there. Excellent. And through that all, oh, didn't actually stack. A little bit more farming on that side. CK on this one is just going right into the jungle. They don't have the space, right? This is the problem. You don't have T1s. So what do? You have to go back into the jungle because there's no place that's safe. I mean, they do have their mid T1, which is fine. But again, the Shaman, level 7. You haven't used your wards. You got to push out. You got to get something, right? And I understand that the Wind Ranger is scary, but this is where you're like, hey, team, let's group up. Let's look to get some sort of pickoff. Let's do some action. You can't just be passively sitting and letting your team hopefully get back in. What you need to be doing is creating some space. The Huskar here has got Blade Mail queued up. He's got a little bit of ways to go. But with the Shaman, I don't know if they can take this fight. It's so obvious, right? Like the Wind Ranger knows and is continuing to push through. She's kind of pump faking the arrow. She does get the, doesn't get the catapult because of the evade. So I guess not everything going the way of Dire. But a haste here.
I guess I can get faster.
Turn this around. Bloodlusting the Huskar. Ignite being spread all throughout. There are 3 people in the middle. Now, I'm wondering what Jugs has to do, right, to get back kind of to be at the point where, okay, this is the moment where I can start fighting. Is it Manta? Is it, you know, what level is he comfortable, or is she comfortable at?
Tower is under attack.
That said, Tiny here, TPing back into the jungle. They're looking to turn this into a very passive jungling game, which I'm not a huge fan of because you have a 10K net worth lead. This is where teams lose, right? You let teams get back into this. The Huskar, yeah, he's not that scary now, but if he gets Blade Mail, he does get the next item. I mean, he can start fighting, right? Like, you have a huge advantage in the sense that you've taken away the T1s. You've taken away a lot of that. Oh, the Shackle here. Oh, off the mark. No tree to kind of latch onto. And the Ogre there will just kind of scare the Wind Ranger away. Shaman and Ogre just being best buddies, holding hands in the jungle. And they're looking to go on the Jugs, who's going to look to spin TP his way out. You got no BKB piercing spell. I wonder at what, level 20? If he goes for that Reality Rift, spell immunity, to kind of just deal with the Jugs. But, I mean, it's that or the 150 gold. It'll be debatable. I think that it has its merits in this game, especially since you do have you're up against the Jugs. But we'll see what they end up doing. This is one of the first smokes that I've seen, but no vision, and it's going to be very different. If you climb up this way, you get popped, and then the Tiny can kind of see it, and he gets popped here, and he sees him. He's like, oh crap. He gets stunned up. The life break is being used. The TPs are on the way, but he gets shackled back in. The Stomp catches out 3. The Stampede is on the other end of that. They get 2. This is 3, and the CK is also looking to go down. The Tide is finally here. He uses the Ravage. He catches out the Centaur, and it looks like at what cost when it's a 4v1? The Tide's like, okay, guys, don't kill me. Okay, and he runs away. He gets the Ravage off, but why was he not in that fight? What was he doing? They need him. They need her. They need Tide. What is Tide? A Tide, a guy or girl? I mean, it looks like a guy, but it could be a girl. I don't want to put people in boxes. But yes, a little bit of an issue there. She should not have been fighting by herself. Let's be honest. Glimmer Cape almost with AA. Jugs has got Manta up. It's just a matter of getting it using the courier. But man, Tiny, I think this is like the 5th invis. Like, I don't know if we can get the stats on this, but this is ridiculous. Like,
as like a roaming Tiny, this is like the perfect rune. You get the vision, you get, you know, people don't see you, you can toss people back. I mean, it's like the best rune you can get for Tiny. But that said, they do see the CK, they get the spin off, but the shackle's off the mark because he gets thrown off, but it doesn't really matter. The CK, he's got nowhere to go. He's just going to get focus fire down. Can he run away from this? He's been spirit vesseled. He's just trying to armlet toggle through all of this. He's got no TPs on the way. This is when you're like, hey, friends, are you really my friends? Because nobody came to help you, but it looks like they're going to look to take the T1 mid. The wards are focusing it, but they're not doing enough damage, and so it's going to be easily farmed by the Wind Ranger. So I don't know if they know or if they got the memo that the CK is actually their carry, and they need to kind of protect him. But Jugs is here. He's going to look to take the bottom T2. He does have the creep waves now, so there's no backdoor protection, and they should take full damage here. What to do? Like, how do you get back in this game? Like, obviously you need to start pushing where they're not, but I feel like the Tide has been trying to catch up for like 20 minutes. He had a bad laning phase and trying to get himself back into this game. It seems like they're lost the laning phase. Okay. If we're going a little bit of action in the mid, they get the stomp off on the Huskar. The Chaos Bolt will keep him alive, but the Omni Slash does so much work, easily kills the Huskar. The Centaur Stampede is now being used, and they're going to look to turn and get as much as they can. They get the Ogre, who's just trying to run back home. The spin will be enough, and it looks like they're going to take an easy T2 mid.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Look at the Centaur just kind of tanking all the tower hits, just getting his retaliate stacks back up. It's just super tough to deal with, right? Like, you can't really fight into this lane, or into this team. You have no T1s to kind of have some space for your guys. So this is one of those games where I feel like Go can win this game in the next 5-10 minutes if they're objective based, which they're doing now in terms of the Roshan. But they just kind of put their foot to the pedal, so to speak, and just continue to choke them out and kill them. You do not want them to get back in this game. And I mean, they have the right amount of heroes. Their heroes are the right composition to deal with this Huskar and the Chaos Knights. So they're in a good spot. But it looks like they're going to make quick work of this Roshan. It's got nowhere to go. This is all without the Wind Ranger for the Focus Fire. But the Wind Ranger will now show up as all the work has been done. And take the XP, and the Aegis will be picked up by the Juggernauts. And it looks like they're going to go for the top T2 mid. Sorry, just the top T2. But, okay, so Tidehunter has Hood, and he's got Vlax. He's got Pipe on the way, but I don't really feel like there's a whole lot of magic damage. Maybe it's just me. Like, the Wind Ranger is all about the right click, the Focus Fire. The Tiny, I get it, but he bursts, and he's been more of, like, the positioning and the stuns. So I feel like the Jugs and the Wind Ranger are the ones that you really want to deal with. So I feel like a Crimson is a better choice. But, okay. It does deal with the AA. So it gets tossed back. The Ravage, it gets us out 4, even with the BKB. But the Tide is taking a lot of damage, and they're looking to turn this around. They get at least 1. The Aegis has been popped from the Jugs, and they're looking to get the Shackle. The Chaos Knight's got nowhere to go. He's going to have a buyback. The wards are also being used. The Hex is also, but the Shaman gets power shotted down. The Serpent Wards are doing work. And he's going to spin, he's going to take the Tyro, the Life Break on the other end. The Blade Mail has finally been revealed, but the Omni Slash doesn't really care. And the Jugs is going to turn this around. The 2-man Shackle, that's a complete team wipe. Well played. Wow. The AA is like Thanos in the sense that he snaps his fingers, gets a triple kill, and half the army is dead. Wow, well played by the AA. Nice rotation, or nice positioning in the back, just hiding like, well, just hiding like a support would be in the back. Just making sure the Ice Blast hits everybody, destroying all the sustain. And it looks like they're going to turn, and they're going to, look at this Tiny, just taking the tower. Focus Fire is being used, and they're going to do quick work of this tower. T3 is also up. There's no buyback, so it looks like they're going to continue at least taking the racks here. They all need to focus the melee. Tiny just trying to hide out. But okay, they're slowly taking the melee. I think you take the melee and you run, just to play a little bit safe. Okay, yeah. So it sounds like the Dire team are actually voice activated. They are not.
We're on a 6-minute delay. They do not hear me. And while I am giving what I think is good advice, it seems like they're making good calls as well. So Team Go really taking advantage of this 27K net worth lead at 25 minutes with a 27 to kills versus 6. So I couldn't have scripted it better myself. It seems very obvious and somewhat shady, but I mean, they're just tearing it up right here. I mean, like, look, the Hood and the Crimson, the Centaur are super tanky, just super annoying to deal with. Oh my gosh, 6 invis, I think. We'll get exact official numbers at some other point, but this is super lucky. This is ridiculous for this. Oh, and he gets the stun off. The Tiny tosses him back into the jugs. He's got nowhere to go. The Vessel's also being used. It doesn't matter about the heals. The Shaman was like, I was just trying to save him, but now he gets killed. Oh, the Vessel, that should kill him. Oh, and he gets the ward. He catches 2 of them, but it doesn't really matter. That's just going to be free, and he gets tossed forward. He does have Ravage if he wants to use it, but I don't think they do, especially with 3 of them down. He's looking to save the Ravage, at least for the next fight. But I don't know if there will be a next fight, especially with his racks going down. The Serpent Ward's just getting easily farmed up, adding to the 30K net worth lead that Go have. Mid T1, or the mid racks is taken here, and they're making their way bottom. I love the fact that they're not being stupid in the sense of pushing for T4s and trying to end it. And it looks like they're looking to turn this into just, just megas, right? Like, that's the easiest way to win the game. You just get megas, and you just kind of back up, and you just win the game. There's really nothing that they can do. The CK is just so far behind. I mean, he has drums, armlets, right? I think as a position 4, I would have had this at like 20 minutes. So I don't mean to toot my own horn. I just think that maybe I just had a good game. But the Gush is being used, the Phantasm as well. They do get the Hex up on the Centaur, but he's not the one you want to go on. This is not the guy you want to attack. And on the back of this, the Jugs is just doing work, kills the Shaman and the Ogre. And the Ravage is now being used, but they do have Megas, so it's just, I think this is just the last cause. The Chaos Bolt hits the Centaur, but he's just so tanky. The Creep gets tossed back. I don't know if you saw that. And the Wind Ranger is now here. They're going to get the Tide one last time, and this is looking to be an unwinnable game. I think that Go have harnessed the power of OG. They have taken over, and it looks like they're just going to take the T4s. The Tide not having him Ravage. He's back in 35 seconds, but what do you have? The Tiny, the Centaur, Stomp, Stampede, the 2-man Shackle, and this is just going to put salt on the wounds, and he's looking to get an easy kill there. You get all 3, going godlike with Joyson, a.k.a. Thompson. But here we go, and Tiny, little BM in the sense of I'm just going to dive your fountain, but with the Ancient being killed, 35-7, 27 minutes, very easy game for GO. I'm going to call them that and not just Go, because I feel like they're harnessing the OG spirit, so we need to kind of call them what they are, and that is GO. If we're looking at the kills, 12-1-14. Joyson, right? She had a great game. Just an amazing game throughout. Juggernaut, of course, Mazen. I see why you're called Mazen. Get it. 8-0-10. These two completely tore this up. The Tiny, I have to give you an MVP as a support player. I love what you did. Support 4, you made all the right plays. You made the right tosses. You had the right amount of invis runes. I don't know how you did it. If you can reach out to me at Holler TV, teach me how you get all of those invis runes, because I need that when I play position 4. It just makes your life a lot easier. Obviously, you have that power, so please pass that on to me. Let me give a shout out to our sponsor, Dreamcore, our official PC partner, Super Solid, the monitor partner. Elgato is the hardware sponsor. Yahoo TV, they're our official media partner. Overdrive did all the visuals. And, of course, Aftershock is the gaming laptop that we've been using. And, of course, FSL for bringing up this league. Big shout out to all of you guys for bringing this together. Obviously, without you guys, we wouldn't have had any of this. We've had some amazing games. We had 4 games today. We have 4 games tomorrow. It will start 12 noon, GMT +8. The first game will be Boston's Lynx versus Asterix. I believe that they're the only Singapore team. So if you're from Singapore, give them a shout out. Give them all the support that you can do. You can watch the games, obviously, on Facebook, Twitch, or however you're watching them right now, or on Dota TV. A big shout-out to all of the teams that played today. Thank you for letting me be here casting with you today. I will not be here tomorrow. You will be in the good hands of Ashley, Potato Cat.
She will take good care of you, and of course, she will bring you 4 good games. I'll be here next week with Ashley, so we'll be doing a little dual cast. So you'll get to see her, and of course, you'll have to bear with me and my ugliness. You can find me at Holler TV, all the social medias. Please give me a shout out. I do appreciate anything that you can do. And if you have any problems, if you think that some of the feedback that I gave you, some of my criticism, so to speak, is a little too harsh, feel free to reach out. I love to just reach out and just talk. I love to talk about Dota, so feel free to reach out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, 12 p.m. plus 8 GMT. Thank you so much. I'm Holler TV, and I'm signing out. Thank you.